A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a murder in which no gun was used, nor knife, nor blunt instrument, nor poison, nor suffocation, nor force of any kind. And yet a man was murdered. So now, with Lawrence Dobkin as Joe Porter, here is tonight's suspense play, Destruction.
Okay, Doctor. Okay. Okay, Doctor. Okay. Color? You're going to be all right, Mr. Porter. You were brought here to emergency by ambulance, and you're going to be all right.
Color?
As good as new.
Cyanotic at all?
Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Porter.
Inject intravenously lanthocide C, being a digitalis derivative and highly recommended in cases of near death.
You won't die, Mr. Porter.
As, for example, when a man collapses in the streets, coronary seizure on the street. Blood plasma by intravenous drip, as, for example. So as to restore the blood volume.
Doctor?
Yes, Doctor?
Cyanotic, Doctor?
His color is poor, Doctor.
The will to live is a remarkable thing. Every cell in the body musters its own peculiar chemistry, its own soul, if you wish.
I got to get up and get your food before the maid comes. You'll be in here when it's ready.
Don't shatter me so early in the morning, Vera.
Don't shatter him so early in the morning. Who do you think you are? Well, who do you think you are?
Oh, stop it.
You ever stop and think of anybody else? You'd only do that once in a while. You'd ever wonder how it is for the people around
The people around me, there's only...
You see.
Just don't cry, that's all.
Why not? Why shouldn't I cry? Can't you listen to her, Joe?
No.
Don't tell me it breaks your heart or something like that.
It terrifies me.
Why?
When you cry, Vera.
Well?
It's another failure I've created, that's all.
Well, listen to him.
Walked into the kitchen this morning. My wife looked at me and she began to cry.
It's coffee. You want juice or something? What do you want?
Why did you cry, Vera?
Oh.
Please, tell me.
Some juice.
Please tell me why.
You want to know what happened to me this morning?
Yes.
All of a sudden, you turned into a small man in an undershirt.
Well, it's hot.
You wouldn't understand if I told you.
Yes, I would.
Small man in an undershirt like somebody I'd never seen before, a stranger. And I know you're not a stranger. You're what my life is up to now.
Oh, no, it isn't. Oh, no.
Once I loved you, and this is what it's gotten me. Little man, little failure in an undershirt.
Did you hear what I said? I said, oh, no, it isn't.
What are you talking
Don't
about?
you think I know?
What are you talking
Stupid
about?
or something.
What are you talking about?
The guy that comes around. Stupid or something. What do you think? I don't know or something?
So?
So?
Yeah, so what?
You don't care that I know?
I said so what, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
You want to leave me?
I don't know.
I got to keep seeing him, Joe. I don't love you anymore. I don't care a thing for you.
Nothing? Huh?
Joe, just not a thing.
After 10 years, now I'm like dirt? I worked my head off so you can have a mate. I can't even get my socks darned. You sit around all day.
You want to whip yourself with a gad just like dirt. Left.
Okay.
Left, Joe, to let you know where you stand. You want me to tell you some things about yourself. You want me to... You're a very little man, Joe.
know it's been building up for a long time, but this morning I felt it for the first time while I was talking to Vera. Something all at once slipped away, and something in me tried to grab out after it, but it was gone. And I had a little pain then. Once, a long time ago, on a summer's night, on a moonlighted night, I stood on a lonely street corner and stretched my arms out for the world. And Vera stood close to me.
I love you, Joe. You're not small, Joe. I love you.
This morning there was a small pain, and I started to die.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, hi, Herb.
Hiya. How's tricks?
Fine.
Everything great, huh?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Everything great, huh?
What's the matter with you?
With me? With me?
Yeah, something funny?
I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Well, what's funny, huh?
You are. You're a funny man.
What do you mean?
How can anybody be as miserable as you, huh?
Now, look.
Where's the $5 for the picnic, Joe?
Oh.
Everybody in the office but Joe Turner. Last year, the picnic committee had to wait until September to park you from $5.
Look, I don't have it. That's all.
I have been delegated to tell you something, Joe.
No, wait a minute.
Tonight is the poker game, yeah?
Well, what about it?
Don't come.
What?
I have been delegated to tell you that the boys don't want you. The boys say you can't pay your just and honest debts. You can't afford to play poker.
Herb.
For your own protection, kid.
Herb.
What?
Oh, Herb.
What's the matter with you?
I look forward so much to...
Hi, Herb. Joe.
Good morrow, fair one. Wouldst drink from yon bubbling brook of a water cooler?
I would.
Ah, then be thee mine guest.
You can't.
Drink you. Crazy, huh?
Joe,
Yeah?
I heard something, Joe.
What?
Herb, you go away. This is between Joe and me.
Oh.
Now, come on, I mean it. Now, go away. This is between my little shortstop and me.
Okay, but you'll tell me later.
No, I won't either. Now, skidoo. Hello, Joe.
What are you looking at me like that for?
You're just lucky you don't have kids, that's all.
What are you talking about? I've always wanted kids. What makes me so lucky I don't have any?
Are you kidding? I can't tell you my source. But my source says your wife's running around. My source...
Shut up!
Joey, my source never lies. Oh, Joe, poor.
I don't know who told you, but she's lying.
It's not a she, it's a he. And, Joey, there isn't a better source alive. I know because I've got a lady friend who knows this party we're discussing. And what she's told me, he's told her about.
Phyllis,
Yeah?
don't say anything to anybody. Not to anybody.
Why should I say anything?
Because it's something that my wife and I will straighten out. Just please don't tell anybody, Phyllis.
Little shortstop. Little Joey.
Died the small deaths. Phyllis's face wavered and lost focus and dissolved into the day of columns and posting and plus signs and marks, ciphers, and Herb coming over just before lunch.
Hey, man. Stuff about your wife. Heard she's running around. Why, that no good.
It was strange. It was a kind of surrender bits of me seemed to be making. As if I were drowning. Submerging only so far and getting used to it and then sinking a little more. There was a time, a bright spring day, when a girl laughed at a very wonderful thing I had said and touched my hand. There were days.
Turner, see you?
Oh, sure, Mr. Collins.
Right away, my office.
Sure, Mr. Collins.
Door.
Yes, sir.
Have a seat.
Thanks.
This is not a depression we're in, Turner. No, sir. Far from it. Leveling off. I'd call it. It's a good sign. Anybody who invests in a false economy, now, mind you, I'm not saying at this stage we just pass through was anything but healthy. But now we've got to do a little bit more retrenching here. You agree?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're fired, Turner. Economists all over the country agree that a strong inventory that's fluid is the soundest investment, and that any company that carries too much of a load as far as personnel is concerned is foolish. Now, I only appeal to your intelligence. You can see for yourself that we must cut down on our expenses. Are you crying, Turner?
Yes. Mr. Collins.
We've got to level off. Now, I have charts to show that there's no time like now to undertake minimum...
Mr. Collins.
Yes, what is it?
I'll work for less money.
Well?
Please don't fire me.
Well...
I'll take a cut. Just figure out how much I'm worth to you. Why don't you do that? Figure out how much I'm worth to you. I'll take a cut.
You're forcing me to say it. We don't need you. We don't want people like you in our organization. You're fired. You are listening to Destruction, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Later tonight on most of these stations, CBS Radio continues Mr. Keene's latest serial thriller, The Ice Queen Murder Case. The old investigator finds himself skating on thin ice in his efforts to find clues. Tonight, through Friday of this week, continue with Mr. Keene, tracer of lost persons.
Now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Lawrence Dobkin in tonight's production of Destruction, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Dr. Landis.
Yes?
Mr. Turner's cyanotic, a bluish color indicating lack of oxygen.
Yes.
It seems to me only a thought, but it seems to me...
You had a thought, Doctor?
As if Mr. Turner had no will to live, or the want, or the desire.
I don't know. I wouldn't...
I'll prepare the syringe.
Mrs. Porter said for me to do. She said if she got your dinner, serve it to you, and then I was through for the day.
Where is Mrs. Porter?
Out.
Did she tell you where she was going?
What?
Did Mrs. Porter tell you where she was going?
She said out. That's all she told me. She said out.
Oh.
Why, don't you know? Didn't she call you up at the office?
This keeps you overtime, doesn't it, Thelma, staying on to serve my dinner?
Mrs. Porter talked to somebody on the telephone. I thought sure it was you. The way
Thelma?
I was ironing her things in the kitchen. I didn't hear the words. Just that kind of soft laugh Mrs. Porter has sometimes when she's talking on the phone. I didn't hear the words, but I sure thought it must be you she was talking to.
It was.
Then she went into the bedroom and called out to me to iron that silk blouse first. That frilly one cut low off the shoulder.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Oh, you sure got an attractive wife, Mr. Porter. And we two get along real fine.
Thelma.
It was around 4 she went out, smelling pretty and looking real nice. I said, you have a nice time now, Mrs. Porter. Didn't tell you where she was going. I didn't talk to you on the phone.
Thelma.
Well, I guess I'll be going. Nothing more.
No, why don't you stay a little while? We'll talk. I hate to eat alone. I'll be through eating in just a few minutes. You could clear the table and maybe wash the dishes, and by then Mrs. Porter will be
Not
home.
me, Mr. Porter.
Well, she's already paid you the extra.
Not me. Besides,
Besides what?
if I was you, I'd go to a movie or something. Mrs. Porter's not liable to get home until real late. That's what she said to me. She said, tell him not to wait up.
was moving in on me. All the dying that had happened to me during the day moving in. Adding up. Very close now. The emptiness, the stillness left behind when she walked out of the house. And the quick dart of nightfall speeding through the rooms and moving in on me. And the sigh of wind close to my ear. And farther away, the silence somehow, quivering, trembling somehow through the grass and on the leaves in the yard outside. And it was close to me as I went into another room, to the closet that held Vera's clothes, that held the perfume she wore and the scent of seasons long dead, seasons dying, even now. And back into the room. A room where a long time ago.
Joey, baby, look what you've done. You made me drop my mirror.
Trick, Sonny. Trick that just wouldn't work for me. But it's going to. Hey, Far, set me up another row of wine glasses. Got to show my friend here this
Who's
trick.
twisting your arm?
What'd you say, friend? You said something?
I said don't bother.
You don't care if I ever do this trick?
No.
If not ever in my whole life I ever do this
Look,
trick?
I don't.
You're not a true friend. Why, any true buddy would...
Forget it. You show somebody else. I'll move.
Where you going, friend?
Get your paws off of me.
Get my... oh, get my paw. I like you. You're my friend. I'm going to show you my trick.
I told you, get your hands off of me.
You didn't tell me a thing. I think you're going to sit right there where you were sitting. And you're going to be friendly and watch a trick. Or else I'm going to smash your face in, little one. Make you drink beer right off the barroom floor. Sit down, little one. I like you, little one. I like how you pay attention. I like the...
Well, these two, Mr. Stevens. These the kind of class?
You're a lad. A fine, upcoming lad you are. Look, I'll take...
Don't worry about it, Mr. Stevens. Do all the tricks you want. An old customer like you, who's going to mind?
You hear that, little one? This lad's a friend. He likes to see me do tricks.
Sure. Have a barrel of fun, Mr. Stevens.
Now, this trick I'm going to show you... What's your name, little one? Come on, what's your name?
Joe Porter.
You don't look good, Joe.
No?
You look sick. Pale and sick. You sick?
No.
You're sick.
Oh, look, mister, please.
You want to tell me something, Joe? Because I'm listening.
It's like you said. I don't feel too great. All I want to do, mister, is sit here and have a quiet drink.
What eats you, Joey?
Nothing. It's not any...
Girlfriend?
No.
Wife? You're the type who's got a wife, little one. If you got a thing going...
Leave me alone.
Joey. I tell you what. I'm going to do this trick I do with a row of glasses. And it's going to take your mind off whatever it is that's eating away on you. A man like you, a little one like you, he's bound to have something going for him with these women, folks. Now, don't tell me nothing about that because I know. And Stevie's got a trick with a row of wine glasses. Now, why did you go and do a thing like that, little one? Why you go and spoil my trick?
Because I had enough of you. I had enough of your
Now,
dog.
shut your mouth.
You're a slob. You're a fat, overgrown slob.
I said to you to shut your mouth. That's what I said.
Who's you? You come on outside. I'll
What's
have...
wrong, Mr. Stevens? Come around the side of the bar, lad. We got ourselves a drunk here. That's what's wrong, lad. Smashed your nice glasses and everything.
He kept at me. That's what he kept bothering me. Kept digging at me.
You got yourself a real drunk, lad. A lush. Man can't hardly find peace and a little fun anymore.
Get out, mister. We don't want any trouble.
I wasn't making any trouble. It's him. It's this
Maybe
fat
he
slob.
doesn't understand you, lad. Only way to make a drunk understand. Kick their teeth in. Throw them away, lad.
Sure, Mr. Stevens. Come on. You can't walk, but I've got a way.
man and a young woman walked by, arm in arm. A girl, really, with the nighttime soft on her face. She tugged at his sleeve and stopped him. And they looked at me.
Look what I found, Dickie. A drunk.
Yeah,
A drunk in the gutter.
that's where the wine leads, straight to the gutter.
Is that what he is, a wino?
Boozer, wino, guy in the gutter.
Oh. Well, Mr. Wino. Hello, down there, Mr. Boozer.
Well, let's go, baby. There's sights and sights.
I want to see sights and sights. Good night, Mr. Wino. Sleep tight, Mr. Boozer. Sleep tight. Wake up bright.
Come on.
And they walked on. And it had a kind of warmth to it, this dying. And the hurt when the man had hit me and the humiliation. Part of it. A manner of dying that had begun a long time ago, far off time ago, and became the man of the tricks and a girl with sights to see. And along the gutter the question ran, how much longer now? How much further to die? Wonder and a warmth to it.
Mister? You hurt, mister? Oh, you're hurt. Your face. Baby, poor baby. Oh.
And a gentle touch on the hurt.
You've been in a fight. You've been drinking and getting a fight. You shouldn't. Not a fellow like you. Nice-looking fellow like you. Let me help you. I want to. Honest, I want to.
She helped me up.
Maybe you ought to wash up a little. Dust yourself off. A fellow like you oughtn't to go home looking like a wall hit him. A man like you. There, you're going to be new as pie.
What's your name?
Ellie. It's Ellen, but you say it, Ellie.
I don't know why you should...
Feels nice, huh? Ellie's doing nice, huh?
Yes, but I don't...
Now, you're new as pie. I'll get this stuff underway. What's yours?
What?
What's your name, foolish?
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Mind I sit next to the patient? Mind?
Why are you doing all this?
What?
Pick me out of the gutter. Bring me here. Take
You
care.
mean that?
Yes. The drunk in the gutters, face bashed.
Foolish.
No, I'm not. I'm asking a simple question. Why one human being will do a thing like that, do something nice like that, and another one will
You really are, aren't you?
Or what?
Foolish. You really are. Sit a couple of minutes if you want, Joe.
Ellie.
You sit. That's the way you are.
What are you doing?
Watch me. I do it well. When I do that good, every light in the room goes on just in this one switch. I had an electrician come up once and say...
Why did you do that?
Ask me again.
Why? Why did you turn on all
So
the
I could
lights?
get a good look at you, Joe. A real close look.
Ellie, all I want...
Get out of here, Joe.
Why?
Don't make me let out a yell about it. Just get out.
Before you were nice to me, kind?
No more.
Why? It's not much to ask. Just why? Tell me.
You got someplace to go? Someplace far from here?
Yes, I have. I have a home and...
Wife?
Vera.
I saw it once. I was a kid and I saw it once. Never forgot.
What are you talking about?
I saw her. I was a kid. This man fell flat on the street. I came up close and I saw his face. Close as I am to you.
What's that got to do
Do
with...
it somewhere else. Die somewhere else.
Landis, quickly.
Norepinephrine should have.
Normally it would have, but it didn't. No response to it.
The blood volume.
No longer a question of that.
Then,
Andesite C, plasma, norepinephrine, and the one medication we cannot give, beyond our power to give. But his body seems to have lost the will to live. There's a chemistry that kills that we know nothing about. He's dead.
Suspense, in which Lawrence Dobkin was starred in Morton Fine and David Friedkin's story, Destruction.
This Thursday night on CBS Radio, Kathy and Elliot Lewis will be on stage with an original thriller titled The Telegram. The Lewises paint a startling, believable picture of a young married couple spending a harrowing night with an unopened telegram. Listen for it, Thursday night.
Next week, the story of a woman, a most attractive woman, who learns to her discomfort that even the smallest of arguments could lead to her death. That's next week on Suspense. Is directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Destruction was written for Suspense by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. Featured in tonight's cast were John Daner, Michael Ann Barrett, Jack Crucian, Charlotte Lawrence, Jerry Hausner, Virginia Gregg, Clayton Post, Frank Gerstle, Georgia Ellis, and Charlie Bear. And remember, next week, Ben S. Hunter's suspense story, Goodnight, Mrs. Russell.
Listen while you work. Enjoy Wendy Warren every Monday through Friday in the daytime on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a woman, a most attractive woman, who learns to her discomfort that even the smallest of arguments could lead to her death. So now, with Virginia Gregg as Mrs. Russell and Vic Perrin as Henry, here is tonight's suspense play, Goodnight, Mrs. Russell.
There's no escaping now. He hasn't said a word for 10 minutes. I know he's turning over in his mind how he's going to kill me. It's almost dawn now. In a little while, the milkman and the paper boys will be making their rounds. I'll be dead. The cafe was just half a block away from where I worked. It was a small, pleasant little place.
spotlessly clean, with a large plate glass window on the sidewalk. There was always a beautiful-looking roast turkey and a juicy baked ham in the window, and you could watch Henry carve off succulent pieces of meat and arrange them into neat sandwiches, with an olive and a dab of potato salad on the plate. Every noon, all of us who worked in the Hillmar building would go there for lunch. We crowded in on the high stools and jabbered as women do, while Henry patiently served us and put up with our female chatter. He was always the only one there.
How are you today, ma'am?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you, Henry. I think I'll have some of your nice baked ham and...
Yes, ma'am. Coming up.
He was always especially nice to me. I suppose that was because I'm, well, a little older than the others. The other girls were all quite young and very cute. Henry always seemed uncomfortable a little with them.
Yes, ma'am. Coffee?
Yes, please, and I believe I'll have some of your cherry pie. You're an excellent cook, Henry.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm glad you think so. 20, 15, 30...
Perhaps I should have realized then, at a moment like that. He'd been in the middle of adding up my check when he stopped and stood very still and looked out of the corner of his eye, with his head cocked on one side as though he were listening to something. His expression was a little horrified. I thought maybe he'd heard a sound that meant something to him. You know, like the refrigerator out of order or something. Then all of a sudden he shook his head and brushed away whatever it was he had heard.
20 and 15's 35 and 45. You should try one of my dinners sometime, ma'am.
Henry, how about some service? We only have a few minutes, Henry.
Excuse me, ma'am.
That was Henry. Oh, one other thing. Funny, but Henry never laughed. Perhaps I should have realized about him because of that. But I didn't. He was so nice and clean and polite, I rather liked him. As a rule, I make my own dinner in the apartment, but one night I had to work quite late at the office, and I decided to stop by Henry's and get a bite before catching the streetcar home. Ever since my husband died, I've felt just a little uneasy on the streets alone at night. I was glad to see the bright light in Henry's little cafe down the block. Henry was alone inside, and I could see him fussing around, cleaning up the place. He didn't hear me approaching.
Oh, you frightened me, ma'am. I didn't hear you coming.
I just thought I'd try one of your dinners tonight, Henry. You mentioned it the other day.
Yes, I know. Sit down, won't you, ma'am?
Well, you weren't closing or anything.
No, not at all. What would you like?
Oh, I'll try your number 4 dinner.
Number 4. Yes, ma'am.
He seemed rather frightened about something. Or suspicious. Yes, that was it. He seemed suspicious about something, I thought. I wanted to help him somehow, but I didn't want to butt in.
This is the first time you've ever been by here at night, ma'am.
Yes. I had to work late tonight, Henry. Didn't want to go home without dinner, you know.
I see.
Is something wrong, Henry?
No, I'll get the rest of your dinner.
Delicious soup.
Thank you, ma'am. You don't often work late, do you?
No, I don't. This is the first time, in fact. My boss asked me to stay late to type some letters.
I know. You work in the Hillmar building.
Well, yes, I do. How did you...
I know lots of things, ma'am.
This is a good dinner, Henry. I guess I'm not as hungry as I thought I was. I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave some of it.
I thought you liked my cooking. You said so just the other day.
Oh, I do. I think you're a grand cook, Henry. It's just that I'm not hungry tonight. I waited too long to eat, I guess.
You don't have to make excuses, ma'am. If you didn't like it, just say so.
No, I mean that your food is wonderful, Henry. If it weren't, I wouldn't have come here.
Wouldn't you?
No. Now, could I have my check, please, Henry?
95 cents, ma'am.
All right. There you are, Henry. You may keep the change.
I'd rather not, ma'am. Here.
Very well. Good night, Henry.
Ma'am,
Yes?
next time you come, I'll have something you like.
But I did not. Oh, good night, Henry.
Good night, Mrs. Russell.
It was good food, but I felt rather ill at ease in there for some reason. That's why I couldn't eat. I decided not to go back there alone. It was rather hard to talk to Henry, and I didn't go back alone. That is, not for 3 weeks. I should never have gone back. We all continued to have our lunch there, and Henry was the same quiet, polite young man. Gradually, I came to feel that odd business in the cafe that night had just been all my imagination. Then came tonight. I had to work late, and again, and for the last time, I went to Henry's. Hello, Henry.
You've decided to try me again, I see.
Why, Henry, I've been eating here every day.
Not at night.
What's the difference?
In the daytime, you're always with your friends.
I like to eat with my friends. Now, let's have no more of this silly talk, Henry. How about one of your wonderful dinners? I promise to eat all of it tonight.
All right, ma'am. Which one?
I'll try the number 4 again, please. I think that way I can convince you I really like it.
Why?
Why? Oh, because I think 4 is lucky, don't you?
All right, ma'am, it's all ready.
You don't have many customers at night, do you, Henry?
No, ma'am. Not many.
I'm surprised you stay open.
Are you? There you are. I hope...
What is it, Henry? You seem to be listening for something. Is there...
Are you enjoying your dinner?
Henry, I hate to sound like I'm prying. I know it isn't my business at all, but I think something's bothering you.
Do you?
Yes. There isn't any way I can help, is there?
Nothing's bothering me, ma'am.
Yes. You know, I had a son like you.
Did you?
He was in the Army. He was killed in the war. He was very much like you.
I see.
That left me all alone in the world. My husband, Leonard, died 4 years before. Oh, he was a wonderful man. Everyone admired him. The contractor, you know. I began to notice that as I talked away about my family and everything, he became very quiet. He sat down on the cooler back of the counter and just watched me, his face absolutely blank. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. I was getting uneasy again. I just about decided to make up an excuse to pay my bill and leave. It was getting quite late. Then my head began to feel heavy, and I began to feel sick. Strange.
Mrs. Russell?
Oh, Henry, I feel ill. Henry, I'm awfully dizzy. I don't think I can. Henry? Can't you hear me? I believe I'm going to faint. Perhaps you'd better help. Did you do something?
Good night, Mrs. Russell.
You are listening to Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
A one-man crime wave comes to an abrupt end when the FBI swings into action in an exciting tale tomorrow night on CBS Radio. The G-men break up the gentleman friend racket in brisk, efficient style. Listen to your FBI in Peace and War tomorrow night on most of these same stations.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Virginia Gregg and Vic Perrin in tonight's production of Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I don't know how long I was unconscious. It seemed just for a moment. A moment crowded with horrible nightmares and dreadful sounds. I remembered hearing a woman screaming and crying horribly. It was ghastly. I must have been unconscious several hours. And when I opened my eyes, it was dark. Pitch dark. A clock was ticking somewhere. And I realized that the screaming woman had been me. Is anyone here? Where am I'm tied up. Who's there? Can anyone hear me? Help! 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 Where am I?
You're in my room, Mrs. Russell.
It was Henry. Where was he? The room was black as night. I could see nothing. What was I doing here? Why was I tied up? How did I get here? I remembered nothing after feeling dizzy. So that was it. You put something in my food, didn't you, Henry?
Yes, I did, Mrs. Russell. I didn't want to kill you at the cafe, you see.
Kill me?
Yes, Mrs. Russell, dead.
Why, Henry? Why?
Because you're my enemy. You and all the others.
Your enemy? I like you, Henry. I've always liked you.
Don't lie, Mrs. Russell. You thought I didn't know, didn't you? You thought I didn't know what you were up to.
What I was up to?
Planning to kill me. Night after night, I've heard you, all of you, outside my window, whispering and talking about how you were going to kill me. Didn't you know I could hear you?
You're insane!
Oh, no, I'm smart, Mrs. Russell, and you know it. That's why all of you planned to kill me, to get rid of me. Just lucky I found out you were one of them. You'll be the first to die, Mrs. Russell, and you're going to die slowly, in the dark. How do you like that, Mrs. Russell? Be quiet, Mrs. Russell, or I'll have to beat you up before I kill you.
To make myself think. I remembered you're supposed to humor people that are like Henry. I tried to control myself.
No one can hear you. No one even knows you're here. I'm not going to untie you either. Not until you're dead.
Henry, I'm only...
You'll lie here in the dark and listen to the alarm clock for half an hour. Just half an hour, Mrs. Russell. And then I'll kill you. You see, I want you to suffer, like you've made me suffer.
Henry, I'm just an ordinary woman. How can you think these things of me?
Oh, come now, Mrs. Russell. I'm smart enough to see through those remarks you made.
Remarks?
Always talking about what a good cook I was, as if you felt I wasn't a man. I know what you're thinking.
Henry, I didn't mean anything of the sort. I really
And then rubbing it in about your precious son in the army, rubbing it in and torturing.
Henry, all those things, they were your imagination. I didn't mean them that way at all.
You're like all the rest. I'm too smart for you, and you know it, so you want to kill me. I'm a dangerous enemy, Mrs. Russell.
How long have I got to live, Henry?
Half hour? I don't know. The alarm will ring. Then I'll kill you.
I was resigned to it then. It seemed so hopeless. But then I thought, if I could just get him to turn on the light, I might see a way out. It was a forlorn hope, but I tried it. Henry? How do you know you set the clock right? Henry?
I heard you.
You didn't answer. I thought...
You thought you could get me to turn on the light. Sorry, Mrs. Russell.
Henry, you're torturing yourself more than you are me, Henry. Do you know that?
What do you mean?
You don't know when the alarm's going to ring either. You must be sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to hear it. Aren't you? You see, when it rings, I know that I'll have to die. But you know that you'll have to commit a terrible crime. Murder, Henry.
Shut up.
It is true, then, isn't it?
You can't trick me into turning on the light. I'm too smart for that. You're going to suffer in the dark, as I have. I decided to turn on the light, Mrs. Russell.
At first I was blinded, after having been in the dark so long. Then I saw his hands. They were long and slim and brown. Blue veins stood out on the backs of them. I looked up at him. He was just staring at me. Then he picked up the alarm clock and looked at it.
10 minutes to 3, Mrs. Russell. You have 10 minutes to live. Can you wait?
It was a tiny, neat living room. I was on a couch. The shades were down. There was no phone. The front door might be unlocked. It might be. I can wait, Henry. 8 minutes now. The hands were racing each other around the face of the clock. But if I could just get untied now, there'd be a chance. I'd have to be careful. But quick.
5 minutes, Mrs. Russell.
Henry, what are those things strapped to that board over there on the wall?
Oh, that's my collection.
A collection?
Match folders?
Oh, do you collect match folders?
Oh, yes. I'll show them to you.
I held my breath as he took them down off the wall. That clock would only stand still for 5 minutes.
Here. See? I have folders from all the famous night spots. Here's Ciro's. And the Store Club. And 21. Bet you didn't think I'd been to all those places, did you?
Oh, I know. Have you, Henry?
Sure. Lots of times. People would never believe me. That's why I have these.
They're lovely, Henry.
Yes.
Henry, my arms and legs are numb from being tied up like this. Could you...
No. I warned you not to get tricky, Mrs. Russell.
I just wanted you to loosen my hands so I could look at your collection.
Well, just your hand.
He'd forgotten about everything but his collection for the moment. But that alarm would go off any second, and that would remind him. As he untied my hands, my eyes fell on a large jade bookend beside the couch.
There. Now be careful, Mrs. Russell. You just wanted to see my collection, remember?
Yes, Henry. Show it to me.
Now, see this one? It's from the Coconut Grove.
Yes, Henry.
This one
I let my hand steal along the couch toward the bookend.
Is it beautiful?
Yes, it is, Henry.
You're not paying attention.
Oh, yes, I am.
Look at
I
this
had
one.
it in my hands now. Don't even remember doing it. But somehow I'd gotten the bindings off my feet. And I was outside in the night. He'd been telling the truth. His house was the only one on that block. I ran as hard as I could. I didn't even think about direction, just ran. I knew he'd come to in a minute, and I had to get out of sight. I'm not used to such exercise, and my heart was pounding so hard it ached. In the middle of the next block, I stopped for a moment and leaned against the tree to breathe. and I looked back, and I saw him. I could see him beneath the street lamp. He stopped, not knowing which way I'd gone. He was wild. His mouth was hanging open loosely. I shrank back further in the shadows and prayed he'd go the other way. He didn't. He started walking rapidly again, in my direction. There was a house on this block, a big rambling place. It was after 3 a.m. and the people would be asleep, but I knew I could run no farther. Help! Oh, help! Let me in, please. Oh, please, open the door. Open the... And then I saw the note pinned to the door. It said, "No milk for 10 days." I could hear Henry's footsteps down the street, and I knew he must have heard me. My heart felt as though it would burst. The street was deserted. And then I heard a car approaching. It was a block away. I ran out in the street and waved my arms. Help! Oh, help me! Stop, please! Oh, please, stop! 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 Oh.
Hello, Mrs. Russell.
Henry!
Come on, Mrs. Russell.
But...
Come on. We're going home again, Mrs. Russell.
There's no escaping now. He hasn't said a word for 10 minutes. I know he's turning over in his mind how he's going to kill me. It's almost dawn now. In a little while, the milkman and the paper boys will be making their rounds. I'll be dead.
You shouldn't have tried to get away, Mrs. Russell. You made me very angry.
I know.
You shouldn't have hit me either. You were even smarter than I thought, Mrs. Russell. You almost made it. But you weren't smart enough. Were you?
If you're going to kill me, Henry, please do it. Haven't you tortured me enough?
You see? It just didn't do you any good to be my enemy, did it? I don't like to kill you, but I have to. It's the only way I can protect myself.
Oh. Don't you see you're not well, Henry? Please try to listen to me.
I'll have to kill all the others, too. If I don't, they'll kill me.
The others?
Don't pretend you don't know. I've heard them whispering about me. You must have heard them, too. The voices.
The voices?
All the time, just like I told you. When I'm at work, even here at home, I hear them plotting. They don't know I know.
Henry, there's no one. It's all an illusion, don't you see?
Just like you are, they're afraid of me because they know I can outsmart them. I'm too clever for them, and they know it. That's why they want to kill me. That's why you want to kill me, isn't it, Mrs. Russell?
I don't want to kill you, Henry. If only there was someone...
I've rather gotten to like you, Mrs. Russell. If you weren't dangerous to me, I might let you live.
I'm not dangerous to you, Henry.
Oh, yes, you are. I've decided to strangle you. If you close your eyes, it will happen very quickly. You'll hardly know it. Are you ready, Mrs. Russell? Now, please don't struggle. It'll be much easier for both of us. Aren't you going to close your eyes?
No.
What's that?
What?
Listen, you can hear them. Don't you hear them? The voices.
The voices. The voices?
Don't you hear them?
Yes. I hear them, Henry.
See? Now you believe me, don't you? You hear what they're saying?
Yes. Yes. It's just as you said, Henry.
They must be right near.
Yes, right near.
There are a lot of them. There are too many.
You'd better hide, Henry.
Yes, but where? They sound louder all the time.
They're getting closer. Have you a closet?
Yes, that's it. The closet over here.
Shall I? help you, Henry?
Yes, but be quick. This closet, I'll hide in here.
All right, Henry. I'll protect you. There. A good place to hide.
What if they find me here?
I'll lock the door, Henry.
No, I don't like that.
They're getting closer, Henry.
You'll unlock the door when they're gone?
Yes, Henry.
Lock the door, Mrs. Russell.
You'll be safe now, Henry.
Suspense, in which Virginia Gregg and Vic Perrin starred in Ben S. Hunter's story, Goodnight, Mrs. Russell.
No crime is foolproof enough, no hideaway secret enough when both Captain Kennelly and the 21st Precinct get on the job. Listen tomorrow night over most of these CBS radio stations when the police force of the 21st Precinct shifts into high gear to apprehend another criminal.
Next week, the story of a supermarket and a young man who finds that after closing time, once the daily bustle is stilled, this very ordinary store becomes a place of danger and terror absolute. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman McDonald, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Goodnight, Mrs. Russell was written for Suspense by Ben S. Hunter and starred Virginia Gregg as Mrs. Russell and Vic Perrin as Henry. Others appearing in tonight's cast were Jill Jarman and Eleanor Tannen. And remember, next week, James Poe's suspense story, Never Steal a Butcher's Wife.
Stay tuned now for Johnny Dollar, which follows immediately over most of these same stations. This is the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a supermarket and a young man who finds that after closing time, once the daily bustle is stilled, this very ordinary store becomes a place of danger and terror absolute. So now, with Hy Averback as Harry, here is tonight's suspense play, Never Steal a Butcher's Wife.
It started the first day of the job. I was clerking the liquor department of the supermarket. I hadn't been in Los Angeles a week. My brother, when I left New York, had given me this letter to a friend of his, a guy who owned a string of these supermarkets. The letter was about could he use me, I was a good fella, he could count it a favor, you know. And the guy had this opening, liquor clerk. And comes the following Monday, I'm at work. I spent the morning loading the refrigerators with beer, soda water, all that stuff, and sizing up the place. You know, back east, we don't have many of these supermarkets. There was the vegetable department run by a nice little dark guy, and there was a delicatessen that was run by an old geezer and his frau. There was a bakery department and meat department, and, of course, the groceries. No clerks. You pushed the little cart around and helped yourself. To get out, you passed the cash register, and the girl loaded your stuff, rang up the price. My surveillance of the place had reached the girl who checked the groceries when the trouble started. She was looking at herself in a little mirror and putting on some lipstick. Her back was to me. I see her stop putting on the lipstick, but still looking at the mirror. I see her eyes in the mirror. And then she turns around very slowly and looks at me. Just looks at me. She must have been 50 feet away at the least and with customers between us. But it was like we were all alone. The two of us. On a beach somewhere. An empty beach. I should have looked away. I should have winked and forgotten it. I should have gone on stacking beer and thinking about how to be a success. That's what I should have done. What I did do was I stood right there and locked eyes with her for I don't know how long. And all the time I was looking at her, I was sending her mental telegrams.
Hey.
You and me, baby.
Hey, you.
You and me.
Hey.
You and me, baby.
Hey, what's the matter? Asleep on your feet?
Huh? What'd you say?
You're the new guy, huh?
Yeah, I just started this morning.
I'm Nick Arno. I work the vegetables.
Harry Carr, pleased to know you.
Yeah. Get 2 bottles of cold beer?
Sure. Cold as a witch's heart. Only don't open them here by the counter. You know the law.
I have them out back with my lunch.
Nick.
What?
Come here. Gal over there by the cash register.
Mary?
Is that her name, Mary?
Yeah. What about her?
That's what I'm wondering. What about her?
Oh. No soap. She's married.
You kidding?
You see that big guy over there with the knife? The butcher?
Yeah?
You ask him if I'm kidding.
Well, who's he?
Her husband.
Oh.
See you.
I looked over at him. He was a funny-looking guy. A real creep. He stood there sharpening a tremendous big cleaver, whistling to himself. He had on a hard straw hat and a white apron. He had those rimless glasses with thick lenses so that his eyes looked like baseballs. When he saw I was looking at him, he nodded and went on whistling and stropping. A real creep. Later on, I watched him softening up some sort of steaks. He had a big steel mallet with points on it, and he was whanging away at this meat like a pile driver. And I watched him grinding, and slicing, and quartering, sawing the bones off some of the cuts. And always those eyes like baseballs, and that teeny little mouth lost in the big red face, whistling. And I looked over at her, and she was giving me the eye again. We closed at 7. The vegetable guys carted out the old stuff. The delicatessen man put away his pickles. I checked the register, counted my slips, and made my entries. Krause, the butcher, was still there, packing and cleaning, putting stuff in that big refrigerator room back of the counter. But she had left. I got into my street coat and walked out.
Hello.
She was standing looking at the shoe display a couple of doors down from the market.
I said hello. Don't you say hello wherever it is you come from?
Well, sure. Hello.
You taking the bus?
Yeah?
Which way do you go?
Down to Western.
Oh, I'm going that way. I'll drive you.
No, I don't think you'd better.
What's the matter?
I wouldn't want to trouble you.
No trouble. Come on. I'm parked right here.
What about Mr. Krause?
Oh, he'll be there an hour yet. He takes the bus.
Oh.
Come on. Well, come on. Don't be afraid. You're afraid of me.
No, I'm not afraid of you.
Well, then get in.
So all day long, I'm pushing liquor at them. Now they're pushing it at me.
Oh, you're cute, Harry. No, I mean it. You're cute.
Yeah, well, so are you, baby.
You really think so?
Sure, baby.
Harry, let's get out of here. Huh? Go someplace else.
Hey, I gotta work in the morning.
Silly, this is the morning.
It is? Hey, Mac, what's the time?
1:45. Last call.
You really think I'm cute, Harry?
Sure, baby. But it's late. It's real late.
Don't worry, sugar.
Come on. I'll take you home.
I'll take you home.
Of course, I felt lousy the next morning. I'm not much of a drinker. But she looked fresh as a daisy, smiling and joking with the customers. I didn't look over there. I didn't want to. Didn't want to think about what must have gone on between her and Krause when she got in. He didn't look happy. I knew why. I kept waiting for him to turn those baseball eyes on me. But he never did. Just went on smashing, slicing, grinding, sawing. All that. When I came out that night, she was there. I tried to disregard her.
Harry.
But she said she had something very serious to talk over. And the way she said it... Well, I got in the car again.
He's awful. Really, you don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's tough.
You just wouldn't believe some of the things.
Yeah, look, baby, I think
He's crazy jealous.
Of you?
Yeah. Isn't that silly?
Well, I guess maybe...
Jealous of me. Or should I say, of you.
Me? What does he know about me? What did you say?
Well, I got in this morning, and there he was, sitting up like Grandma in his bathrobe. He said, "Where have you been?" And I said, "What's it to you, Auntie?" I call him Auntie. It drives him crazy. He said, "Don't you think you can fool me?" And then he started to cry and say a lot of things about Babylon and sitting on the water. Real crazy talk.
Well, I better go.
Oh, now don't be silly. He doesn't know who you are or who it is.
But he could find out.
Oh, no. Not unless I told him.
You wouldn't do that?
Of course not, baby. As long as you're good to me.
The next night, I stayed in the market. I was scared. Didn't want any more of that. I did inventory. I counted bottles. I cleaned the refrigerator. I changed the water in the soft drinks cooler. I kept busy. Across the market, Krause was moving around, cleaning up. And after a while, he took off his apron and his straw hat, and he came over. Hello, Mr. Krause.
Yeah. Give me a bottle of beer.
Sure thing.
It's all right to drink it here?
Well, sure. We're closed, ain't we?
Yeah.
Well, here's an opener.
Thank you. You're working late.
Well, you know how it is. Nothing to do evenings.
No?
No, I'm new out here. It takes time to make friends.
For me, maybe it would take time. Not for you, a good-looking young fellow like you.
Well, I don't know. You're a big, broad-shouldered guy.
Yeah, sure. Big. That's me.
How's the beer?
It's all right. Listen, you know my wife.
Your wife?
Yeah. You know her.
Well, yes, isn't she the one who checks the groceries?
Yeah.
Very nice-looking lady.
You think so?
Well, of course. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean it very sincerely. A very nice, respectable-looking...
Yeah, sure enough. Listen, you noticed something funny goes on there?
Funny?
Somebody's playing around with her. I want to find out who.
With her?
You wouldn't believe that, would you?
No, I should say not.
Listen, do me a favor, huh?
Sure. What?
You keep your eyes open, huh?
I will, Mr. Krause. I promise you.
I find that guy. I find out who he is if it takes a year. When I do, I kill him. Good night.
Good night.
You're listening to Never Steal a Butcher's Wife. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. There are all kinds of tales of suspense, and you'll find an exciting one when you listen to the latest Perry Mason story on CBS Radio tomorrow. He's the debonair lawyer detective whose exciting cases come your way Monday through Friday, daytimes, on most of these stations. This week, listen to Perry Mason try to help a damsel in distress. And now, we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Hy Averback in tonight's production of Never Steal a Butcher's Wife, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
You see how it happens? You go along minding your own business, trying to be a sweet guy, and whammy, up pops the devil, the roof caves in, and there you are. The executioner's owning the action, whistling to himself. I tell you, I was nervous. My hands were sweating and my teeth were aching. If it hadn't been for needing the job bad, if it hadn't been for that, I'd have put on my coat and hightailed it out of there butt fast. It was a situation. And Mary's looking over at me every now and then, giving me the big eyes. Yeah, the heck with you, baby. Get yourself another boy. And Krause is looking over and raising his eyebrows. Do I know who it is yet? Then I'm making a long face and shaking my head. And then Nick, the vegetable man, comes over.
I see you didn't understand what I told you the other day.
What's that, Nick?
About Mary. I told you she was a married woman.
What are you talking about?
I seen you, the both of you, coming out of a bar the other morning.
You're nuts.
Don't pull a hard face with me, Harry. I ought to tip Krause off to what's going on.
Nick, be a good guy, will you?
Be a good guy. I'm telling you, you better be a good guy and leave the butcher's wife alone if you know what's good for you.
I will, Nick. I will. I swear it was a mistake, that's all.
Yeah.
So be a good guy, Nick. Forget about it, huh?
This one's okay, but you do it again, you get what's coming to you.
Sure, Nick. Sure thing.
I'm not just talking.
Harry.
What? Blow, will you blow?
Harry, I wish you wouldn't treat me this
blow,
way.
Blow, get away.
Look at me,
Don't you know your husband is watching you?
Oh, he's got his glasses off. He couldn't see Hollywood Bowl. You better be nice to me, Harry.
Please, Mary, please, go back to your cash register.
I want to see you tonight.
No.
Oh, yes.
Look, understand me, baby. You're poison. Now get away.
You'll see me, Harry.
I don't
Oh, you'll see, Krause.
All right. Where?
I'll be parked around the corner.
Around the corner.
And don't be late. Oh, look, now stop being silly and get in.
Look, can't you understand? I don't want any trouble.
What are you so afraid of?
Trouble!
Oh, come on, baby. Let's go have some fun.
Look, please, I've asked you not...
What is it?
Hello.
I warned you.
You got it wrong, Nick.
Oh, no.
Say, what is all this?
You shut up.
Don't you talk to me like that.
I'll talk to you like I please, cheat.
Harry! Hit him, Harry!
I didn't hit him. He was looking down his nose at me, and he was a nice, wide-open target, but I didn't hit him. Because all of a sudden I knew what I had to do, and I knew I had to do it fast.
Harry, where you going, baby?
I didn't turn. Nick was still back there beside the car. I went into the market. Mr. Krause.
Yeah. What?
I found out.
What? I can't hear you, what?
I said I found out. I found out who it is.
Who?
Who?
Nick.
The vegetable man?
Yeah.
The vegetable man.
Now, look, Mr. Krause, I knew yesterday, but I didn't want to get him in trouble. I told him to lay off, but he said nuts. He said if I opened my mouth, he'd tell you it was me, that I was the one.
Vegetable man.
I'm sorry, Mr. Krause.
I never did like him. I never did.
Well, good night.
Vegetable man.
I took a fifth of old smuggler home with me. No dinner. I just lay there on the bed about 3 hours, talking to myself. And finally, to heck with the job. I got up and I started to pack. I was broke, but I didn't care. I'd have to skip out on my rent, but it didn't matter. I didn't care. I wanted out. From Krause, from Mary, from Nick. And suddenly, I figured that even if Nick was a snooping little rat with his holier now, I ought to clear him. So I wrote a note to Krause. I said, I did it, Krause. Don't blame anybody else. I took the note in my bag and the key to the market, and I tiptoed out of the rooming house. I caught a bus and went to the market. The boulevard was deserted. I looked in through the glass door. In the back of the place, up high, there was a red neon beer sign that blinked on and off. On and off. I unlocked the door, went in, locked the door behind me. The place was eerie in the dark, what with that red light blinking on and off. 1 minute the place was pitch black, the next it was 1,000 little red lights bouncing off the canned stuff in the grocery part. I went to the butcher counter first, and I laid the note on the scale where he'd be sure to see it. Then I crossed over past the vegetables and the bakery, past the delicatessen to the liquor department. It was dark, and I kept bumping into things, and I thought, why am I acting like a criminal? I turned on the light. The whole place was suddenly dazzling. Hurt my eyes. I looked at the cash register. I was just thinking about maybe taking a couple of bucks when it happened. I hadn't touched it. Somebody had turned the lights off again. There were other switches in the place. I didn't know where. And after the brightness, the place seemed twice as dark. The red sign blinked on and off and on and off. And then I saw him. Krause. He was standing behind the meat counter at the scale, and he picked up the note. My note. I did it, Krause. And he read it. I couldn't see his eyes, just the glasses. And every time the light blinked, they shone red, bright red, like some sort of terrible toy. And then he began to move. And it was like a movie that you see one frame at a time. Each time the light blinked on, he wasn't where he'd been before. But closer. Closer. Krause? Mr. Krause? Oh, no. No. No, Mr. Krause! Those red glasses kept coming at me. I edged toward the vegetables, and he moved too. I moved the other way, toward the groceries. There was a railing. I climbed over it, and I was in one of the long, narrow aisles of cans and bottles. The stuff was piled head high. I waited, hoping maybe he didn't see me. But he did. I hid behind a tower of dog food boxes. He sounded 30 or 40 feet away. I waited. I looked around the corner. He was looking down another aisle. I ducked my head back. I couldn't understand that sound. I looked again. The aisle was empty. In the center where Krause had stood were his shoes. He'd taken them off. Very quietly, I bent and took mine off, too. And I began to tiptoe away from where I'd seen him. And then I rounded a corner, and there he was, not 2 feet away with his back to me. And I lost my balance, and I put my hand out to steady myself. A whole display went over. I ran. And then I was at the end of an aisle, and there was the wall, the back wall. And I turned, and he was coming straight at me. My hand touched something cold, a bottle. I grabbed it. It was ammonia. Kraus! Kraus, get back! Get back, Kraus, or I'll blind you! Kraus, I warn you, I swear I will! Kraus, I've got ammonia here. I'll blind you if you come any closer, Kraus! He stood there like a crazy blind giant, tearing at his eyes, the ammonia running down his face. I didn't wait. I ran past him, bumping him aside, ran and cut around the cash register and past the delicatessen and the bakery to the door. It was locked. The key, I'd left it in the lock and it was gone. I tried to break the glass with my fist, but it was like steel. I tried to kick it, but I left my shoes behind. And Kraus kept coming, feeling his way along, moaning, silhouetted in the blinking light. The red light that gleamed like a tongue of fire on the knife he held in his hand. I stood behind the counter of the meat department. Under my feet, the sawdust. I bent, scooped up a handful. His face was awful, twisted and gleaming in the blinking red light. His glasses were gone and his eyes were screwed tight shut in pain. He stopped 10 feet away, swaying. Then he opened his eyes, opened them as wide as he could, and moved his head from side to side, trying nearsightedly to see me. And then his head stopped moving, and holding it sideways, using one eye to see me, he came on, the knife held way back. And I waited. Another fly with a sawdust and jumped to one side, my back against the wall, and he twisted and skidded in the sawdust, and he fell. And then he was very still for a moment. I waited, backing. He rose to his knees. In the blinking light, I saw the knife. He'd fallen on it. It was sticking out of the middle of his chest. Kraus! Then, very slowly, he got to his feet. One hand over the place where the knife was. And then he started toward me again. There was a rack over the chopping block. He reached up and got a cleaver. I backed. Behind me, I felt a large, cold handle. The door to the meat storage room. I heaved it open. Inside, it was cold, bitter cold, and dark. In the center of the door was one small, thick pane of glass. It was clouded. I wiped it clear with my hand and looked out. Kraus stood there, his face an inch from mine, looking in. And then his eyes rolled back and his face went slack and he fell out of sight. He was dead. I was sure of it. Now I felt around in the dark for the knob, but I couldn't find it. I felt the door from the top to the bottom. There were bars and bolts and something that felt like a handle, but it wouldn't move. I mean, I heaved and tugged, but it wouldn't move. There was a knife on the slab there, a butcher knife. I felt around the door for a crack, slipped the knife in and twisted. It broke off. Another door, I thought. Maybe there's, please, another door out of this place. And I began to search for it in the dark, feeling along the icy, damp walls. I walked under something cold that moved when I touched it. Side of beef, but no door. I moved farther. Another icy cold thing. And I moved on. Came up against another. Cold as the rest. But I'm crazy. I know it. I'm crazy. This one feels as though it's wearing silk stockings. So here I am. It's awfully cold. Cold as a witch's heart. Cold as a tomb. This thing I have in my hand, this knife handle, I wish it had a blade. I know what I do, I know. But it hasn't. Anyway, I'm innocent of anything. They'll believe me. They will. There's a letter outside on the scale that says, I did it, Kraus. Don't blame anybody else. And there's my suitcase. That'll prove I meant to go away and not to cause anybody a hard time. And there's... Oh, the time goes slow. While I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, I'll tell myself the whole story again. And again. It'll give me something to do, you know. Something to think about. You see, it started the first day of the job. I was clerking the liquor department of the supermarket. I hadn't been in Los Angeles a week. Now, my brother, when I left New York, had given me this letter to a friend of his, a guy who owns a string of these supermarkets. The letter was about could use me. I was a good fella. He was kind of a favor, you know.
Suspense, in which High Averback starred as Harry in James Poe's story, Never Steal a Butcher's Wife. Enjoy tonight's tale of suspense. Well, there's a different kind of suspense on CBS Radio's Monday through Friday daytime serial, The Brighter Day. This week, Reverend Dennis and his family are the targets of a vindictive plot. Find out what happens. Listen to The Brighter Day tomorrow and every weekday on most of these stations. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Never Steal a Butcher's Wife was written for Suspense by James Poe and starred High Averback as Harry. Featured in the cast were Paula Winslow, Jack Crucian, and Lawrence Dobkin. Stay tuned now for yours truly, Johnny Dollar, which follows immediately over most of these same stations. Listen while you work. Enjoy Hilltop House every Monday through Friday in the daytime on the CBS Radio Network.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of a pleasant young Englishman and his wife who encounter a murderer and a parson. They can't tell which is which, not for the life of them. So now, with Lawrence Dobkin as Edward and Paula Winslow as Joan, here is tonight's suspense play, A Little Matter of Memory.
Some observations on Be Hard by Edward Mansell. I am recording the events of the past several hours in the hope that my observations may in some measure be of assistance to those who must treat that violent, that deranged, that homicidal psychotic which is Barrington Howard. My contact with the case began at 5 o'clock this afternoon. But first I feel I ought to explain the presence of my wife and self in this desolate and remote corner of the moors. On August 1st, I'd suffered a stroke which resulted in a partial paralysis of my left side. And for my convalescence, we came to this place, a tiny cottage high on the moors near Buckworth. These moors have been to me a revelation and a delight. Or rather were so, until 5 o'clock of this afternoon. We'd been off on a tramp and were just returning to the cottage.
Oh, but, darling, whatever on earth will you do with all those flowers?
Oh, I don't know. Dry them or something, I suppose. There was a talk on the wire or something about hanging them upside down so they'll keep forever that way. Although, here, hold them, will you, while I get the lock?
Yes, I've got them.
Although just why anyone wants flowers hanging about upside down beats me right side up to the way they were intended to. What's this? Huh?
Oh, someone's left us a note.
Oh, 2 notes. But who's...
Well, what is it?
Close the door, Joan.
Edward.
Oh, wait. I want to see this other.
Well, what is it? What do they say?
Well, this first is a threat. Rather violent and obscenely worded.
Well, let me see.
No, I'd rather you didn't. Here, this second tells the story.
Oh. My dear Mr. Mansell, in view of the news about the man Howard being at large somewhere in these parts, and your being so very isolated, you might welcome a little reinforcement. The police at Buckworth are all busy with cordons and whatever. The man Howard being really an extremely dangerous maniac, and they haven't anybody to spare. I will look in on you this evening, and if you think it's a good idea, help you do sentry go during the night. It will be a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and I hope you will not, under the circumstances, think me intrusive. It's signed George Beale, curate at Buckworth. Edward, what is in that other note?
Well, it's from the signature is Barrington Howard.
The curate says he's a maniac.
Yes.
And he's threatening us.
Says he's coming back tonight to kill us.
But why?
Oh, there are no whys with maniacs.
He's out there somewhere. I'm frightened.
Well, there are the police cordons and this curate chap.
But suppose they don't catch him, or the curate doesn't come.
Now, Joan, look. Look, it's no use our standing here peering out that window. Let us look at this thing sensibly. The best thing we can do is to clear out.
Out? Clear out where?
It's only 6 miles into Buckworth. No reason we shouldn't make it by dark.
But 6 miles over the moor.
Chances are we'll run into the police on the way.
But your heart and your side, you're still limping badly, you know.
Nevertheless, we can make it.
If you say so, dear.
And first, I'll look round. Coast is clear. Let's go. 6 miles. A man in good health could walk it in an hour and a half. A man in good health, which I was not. And with each succeeding step, the dusky pale horizon, violet and smoky in the soft mist of the sinking sun, seemed ever more distant, more inaccessible. The heady musk of the moor grasses and the gorse, these we had delighted in until now, became choking. I could feel my eyes tear and my throat constrict. The heart in my chest thumped and shuddered with each painful limping step I took. And then we topped a rise.
Edward!
What?
Oh, look down there. A constable.
Hello there. Hello. Wait there. I'm coming up.
Oh, what luck.
Yes, you see, I told you.
Oh, well, I must say we're glad to see you.
You know, you people really hadn't ought to be out here.
Oh, you mean about the maniac?
Yes, sir. You the folks renting Miss Blossom's?
That's right. But you see, we found a note from that... What's his name?
A note?
Yes. And so we thought the best thing would be to try walking it into the village.
Don't think you ought to do that, sir. If you'll excuse a suggestion.
Why not?
Well, between here and the town, there's any number of spots we haven't been able to check as yet. He might be hiding, you know.
Oh.
Well, then, what shall we do?
We'll go back to your house. It's a safe place.
Well, now look here. Why don't you walk to the village with us, It's only 3 miles. It shouldn't take long.
Well, I would, sir, but I'm due to join the search party over at the Darket Woods. Those are my orders, sir.
Orders?
Tell you what I will do. I'll walk along with you folks back to your cottage till you arrive there safe and sound.
Back to the...
Edward?
Very well. As we walked, we told the constable about the letter from the curate, and he gave us background on the man Barrington Howard. Seems that Howard had been a sort of small-time actor and ex-acrobat. Nothing worse in his police record than a couple of parking offenses. And then one night, out of the blue, he had murdered 5 people. 5 in a single night. And each had received a notification in advance. A short, obscenely worded, threatening note.
Just like yours.
But
But didn't they take any precautions?
No, miss. Or at least not enough. But you know better. And what with the curate coming to help? A good man, the curate. Used to be a commando.
Well, about this man, Howard. How'd you catch him before?
Oh, that was odd, that was. It was what you might call psychological. He was very clever at disguising himself. An actor. He might have got clean away if it wasn't for this psychological thing.
What psychological thing?
Well, it was kind of a joke, sir. Some folks, you know, you bring up certain topics, they grab the conversation, and away they go. You follow me?
Oh, yes, I know the type.
That's how Howard was.
Ah, compulsive.
Yes. And on this one topic, he had what they call total recall.
Total recall?
He could remember everything he'd ever heard or read. Facts and figures and dates. We used to get him on his topic down at the pub just to hear him go. It was sort of a joke, you see.
And so after the crime, he was in disguise, but someone touched on his topic.
Exactly. He started to talk, gave himself away. We nabbed him.
Well, what was his topic?
Germany.
Germany?
Mm-hmm. Germany. He had a compulsive total recall about Germany. All about Germany. Well, here we are.
Well, I wish we could persuade you to stay.
Your orders, Mum. Now, just you make sure your shutters are bolted on the inside.
Yes.
Put a bar across the door. You'll be snug and safe. Mind you keep that door tight till you know who it is that wants in.
Oh, don't you worry, officer. We shall.
Good night.
Good night.
With his departure, we barricaded ourselves. This cottage is very old, and built in the days of highway robbers, ideally suited to our situation. We lit the lamp and turned it very low, so that no light would be seen from without. And then we waited. And we waited.
Edward.
Yes.
What's the time?
8:30.
Oh, it goes so slow.
Yes.
What?
I hear something out there.
What?
Listening to A Little Matter of Memory, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. One of the most effective savings programs is Uncle Sam's own, United States Savings Bonds. You will find few other financial investments like U.S. savings bonds for security. Invest regularly every week through payroll savings or bond-a-month plans, where you work or where you bank. Now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Lawrence Dobkin and Paula Winslow in tonight's production of A Little Matter of Memory, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Dim light of the lamp, we watched the heavy oak door.
Hello in there. Mansell?
Who is it?
Lord Beale, the curate.
Oh.
You got my note, didn't you?
Oh, but how do we know it's not a trick?
Yes.
Got a torch? Yes.
Stand back from the door and shine it on yourself.
Excellent idea. Can't be too safe, you know.
I'll just look out through the slit. Ah, yes. And she's got one of those collars on. No, clerical.
Oh.
Oh, come in, sir.
Mr. Mansell?
Yes. This is Miss Mansell.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
I'd have got here sooner, but you know, every last person I saw wanted to talk.
Well, we were a little worried, Dr. Beale. We thought you just might have met with some accident.
Accident? Oh, let's not quibble. You mean you thought I might have run into him, don't you?
Yes, I suppose so. Oh, but you're here now. That's what matters.
Yes. Now, let's see. Excellent place you have here. Yes, they really built them in those days.
Would you like some tea, Doctor?
Oh, bother tea, Joan. I have a bottle of scotch in my bag.
Edward.
What's wrong?
Well...
Oh, you mean on my account? Oh, my dear lady. Oh. My collar may be clerical, but my throat is British, and at the moment quite dry.
Now, you see, Joan, I've had some glasses, huh? Well, I find these... here we are.
Yes. Good whiskey, a warm room, pleasant companions, and I'll turn up the lamp a bit if I may.
Oh, yes, do.
Dispel the gloom.
Well, here are the glasses.
There's little to fear about making light now, you know. I've got a gun, and I know the three of us should be a proper match for any man, crazy or not.
I should say. Well, then, a toast, eh? To safety in numbers.
And I really think we ought to keep clear heads tonight.
Joan's the careful one in our family.
Proper feminine trait. So, here we are.
And I can't tell you how much better I feel now that you're here.
Yes. Oh, dear. Constable told us that you were in the commandos during the war.
Oh, yes. Hardly the sort of thing you'd expect from the village curate. Still, there was a job to be done, you know.
Edward was in the air ministry.
Joan. Desk job. Bad ticker. Never really got to see it like you chaps. The big do, I mean.
Oh, don't be sorry. There are a lot of things I'd give my teeth not to have seen.
Like Dunkirk?
Like Dunkirk. Sticky wicket Dunkirk. Seems so long ago now that... would you like to hear about it?
Here. Have another drop.
Don't mind.
Rum go, what?
It was 0445 hours that we rendezvoused with the main force off the beat.
We sat there in the now snug little room and listened. He was a superb storyteller. And as he talked, the scenes of the war unrolled smoothly and excitingly and almost hypnotically.
On our way clear. And ahead of us at long last lay the Rhine.
And after a while, what with the scotch in the warm room, I began to lose track of what he was saying. And then with startling clarity, I was wide awake.
Entered Germany on the Cologne Autobahn at 3:45 on the morning of May the 20th, 1945. I remember it as if it were yesterday. It made this first sight of Germany a quite unforgettable impression on me. Of course, when one comes to think of Germany and the fate of Germany, then naturally...
I looked at him as he chattered along. His eyes were glazed, and he spoke with a curious intensity. And I knew. Joan sat petrified. I reached for the scotch bottle. It was still about half full. And as the man bent forward to pick up his glass, I swung. I should have known. I should have seen through him.
Oh, is he dead?
No. He's just out so quickly. Get some rope, belts, anything. We must tie him quickly, Joan, quickly. I've never tied a man before. And Joan's knowledge of knots is limited to Christmas wrappings. But we used what was at hand. And now, we wait. What has become of the real George Beale, curate at Buckworth, heaven only knows. This thing at our feet, bound like some grotesque cocoon in myriad rags and strings, my best Charvet ties about his wrists, Joan's Montrachet nightgown gagging his mouth. What is to become of him is not our affair, but rather that of the physicians who must treat him. And it is to those men, healers of the...
Hello in there! Mansell! Hello!
Beale? Is that you, Beale?
Edward Mansell? Wait, don't open the door.
Beale?
Yes, but hadn't you better take a look at me first?
Oh, not now, man. There.
Oh, we thought you'd been killed or something.
Come right in. No longer any need to fear.
What do you mean there's a great scar?
Yes, meet Barrington Howard.
It's amazing. How on earth did you do it?
man's a giant.
Oh, matter of luck, I suppose. Really didn't see through the beggar for ever so long.
Hey, look at the collar, too.
Yeah.
Quite an actor, what?
Indeed he was.
I knew he wasn't a curate when he kept reaching for that bottle.
There is a rather strong air in here.
I had to use the bottle to subdue the man.
Ah.
Pity. Scotch whiskey.
Oh, dear me. Now then, let's take a look at these knots.
Well, we did the best we could.
This one's not too good, but we'll just redo it so it's really strong. And look at his legs.
Oh, what's wrong?
You only really tied the ankles. Ought to be careful of the knees, you know.
Oh?
And I'll give you another tip. If you really want to tie a man so he's helpless, fasten his ankles to his wrists. From the back, like this.
Edward, isn't that clever?
I must say.
So. Was he armed?
Good Lord.
He had a gun.
And told us, and we forgot. Look in his pocket.
Here we are. Nasty little weapon. The filth. Think what this might have done to your wife, Mansell. Would have blown a hole through her, you could stuff a grapefruit.
Oh, please, old man. She's been through quite a lot, you know.
Sorry, Mansell, but I believe in being realistic. Oh, that's quite a gag you've made for him.
Yes. Don't think he'll do much talking until we're ready to take it out.
Yeah.
We used a silk nightgown of mine from Paris.
Splendid. I just want to make sure this bar is in its place. There we are. Nice, what? Safe.
Safe? But there's no longer anything or anybody to be safe from.
Oh, you never know. What other weapons did you have?
Oh, just the bottle. Oh, I dealt him a good one with the bottle.
Oh, and there's this carving knife.
And the gun, which I have in my pocket. Well, it's really been quite a little adventure, eh, Mansell?
Oh, should say so.
Yes.
You know, I kept this little record, something for the physician.
Oh, may I?
Oh, please.
Some observations on behalf of... I am recording the events of the past several hours in the hope that my observations may in some way... Well,
of course, you realize that I'm not much for that sort of reporting.
Oh, no. I think you did splendidly. Splendidly. I wonder who else may read these notes of yours.
Look. His eyes are open.
I never realized. Madmen really do roll their eyes.
Ugly beggar, isn't it?
Yes, I must say.
But about your report, this stuff about Germany, did he really say this?
I wish he'd close his eyes. He's trying to say something.
But about Germany, I mean, how could anyone say what was it? When one comes to think of Germany and the fate of Germany, etc., etc., etc. That posh, that argle-bargle about the Cologne Autobahn.
Oh, yes, laid it on rather
Any fool can see the man is dreadfully confused and misinformed about the organization of the National Socialist Party.
Oh, you mean the
Because
Nazis?
the fact is, the organization of the party was divided into 26 Garn, or districts, which did not in themselves form the various provinces of the German Reich. East Prussia, Greater Berlin, Brandenburg, East March, Pomerania, Silesia, Magdeburg-Anhalt, Heilen-Meersburg, Thuringia, Schleswig-Holstein, Weser-Em,
Edward, he's got the knife.
Get back. Neil, help us.
He can't. He's tied too tight.
Get back. The knife.
Doesn't this interest you,
No.
Mrs. Mansell?
No.
As I was saying.
No.
Bertenberg, Hohenzollern, Baden, Hamburg. Mecklenburg, Lubeck. Tell me, my good curate, just there on the floor, does this interest you? The division of Bavaria is even more fascinating, you know. Bavaria was divided into 9 gowns. Swabia, Upper Palatiny, Upper Franconia, Middle Franconia, Lower Franconia, right.
Suspense, in which Lawrence Dobkin starred as Edward with Paula Winslow as Joan. Next week, the story of how perhaps the smallest of items can be the cause of unbelievable terror and hardship. In this case, the lack of a little loose change. We call it chicken feed. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucian Morlick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. James Heldick's story, A Little Matter of Memory, was specially adapted for Suspense by James Poe. Featured in the cast were Edgar Barrier, Joseph Kearns, and Richard Peel. Follow the serial adventures of Mr. Keen evening times on the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the story of how perhaps the smallest of items can be the cause of unbelievable terror and hardship. In this case, the lack of a little loose change. So now, with Harry Bartell as Clark, here is tonight's suspense play, Chicken Feed.
All right, it was a silly thing to fight over, I admit it. A nickel, a measly, worthless nickel. Chicken feed. Junior asked for a nickel, and I flipped it over to him, and Mary said I shouldn't spoil the kid. It was time he learned the value of money, and I said, great Scott, if I couldn't give my own child a nickel without her jumping down my throat. Oh, you know how those things get going. You keep saying things you shouldn't, and she lashes out with an answer, and before you know it, you've stormed out of the house, and you're taking it out on the car. 50 miles cooled me down a little, but not much. I automatically slowed up when I came to the sign, "You are now entering Lansing, California. Go slow and see our town, go fast and see our jail." Driving through the quiet Sunday street gave me time to think of something besides the biting words Mary and I had slugged at each other. I pulled up at a little cafe next to the police station. It had a whitewashed sign on the window. "Best cup of coffee in town for 5 cents. I went in.
I resent that, Officer Brady. Too over easy, Sam. Heavy on the fried. What's yours, mister?
Coffee, please.
Coming up. Here you are.
Thanks.
Say, Officer Brady, how's your star boarder?
Well, Phillips, they're coming for him in the morning.
Think you'll be able to hold him till then? He got out of that Bennington jail like a paper bag.
No worries, sister. Phillips won't get out of this one.
I listened to them with half an ear while I sipped my coffee. There was a stack of the local papers nearby, and I pulled one over to look at. This Phillips was on the front page. Bank robber. Killed a teller. He had a face I wouldn't want to run into. Close. After a while, the hot coffee made me feel better. Maybe I'd been at fault as much as Mary. She wasn't the only one who had a bad time. On a sudden impulse, I left my coffee and went over to the phone on the far wall. I heard the dial tone, then I fished in my pocket for change. It was empty. Say, miss, could you change $1 for me? I want to use the phone.
Yes, sir.
What's the matter, mister?
My wallet. I seem to... look, I'll be back in a minute. Mary wasn't the only one with the temper. I'd stormed out of the house without changing the contents of my pockets to the suit I was wearing. I didn't have a dime on me. Not a nickel. I rummaged in the glove compartment. Mary sometimes left the coin purse, but this time, naturally, it wasn't there.
What seems to be the trouble, mister?
Oh, officer, I seem to have come off without my money. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it until I tried to phone.
Where's your driver's license?
It's in my wallet in San Francisco.
Got any other identification?
Well, the registration slip on the car.
That's the car. What about you?
Well, look, officer, I'm Ralph Clark. Clark and Jacobs in the Hatfield building. We're attorneys.
Kind of far from home to be without any dough, aren't you?
Well, I came out of the house without changing the stuff into this suit. You know how that happens.
How do you happen to have the keys to the car?
I don't take them out when it's in the garage. Say, you don't think...
Where are you headed for?
Well, I know it sounds funny, but nowhere, really. You see, I had a fight with my wife, and I just batted out of the house to cool off.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Clark. Suppose we just mosey over to the station.
Station? Say, what is it?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Just next door, and you can call your wife from there.
Well, I don't see why that's necessary. If you just lend me the money, I could call here and reverse the charges.
We'll go. You can leave the car here. I'll take that key.
Oh, now, look here, officer. I don't get
Move. Come on, move.
Hi, Jim. What do you got this time?
Oh, tell you better after he makes a call. Give me the phone, will you, Rod?
That's out of order. Went dead half an hour ago.
Yeah?
I reported it. They said they can't have a man here before tomorrow.
Well, did you tell him this is a police station, for Pete's sake?
Sure, I told him. It's not bad, though. We get incoming calls. We still got the nickel snatcher over there.
Here's the payphone, Mr. Clark. You can make your call from there.
I don't have any money, remember?
Oh. Okay, here's a nickel.
A nickel?
That's all it takes in this town.
Jerkwater place.
Let me speak to your wife when you get it.
It's going to sound fine. Just fine. She'll think I've really tied one on.
Operator.
Operator, I want to call San Francisco, Fillmore 60098, and reverse the charges, please.
Thank you. Your number, please.
This is 460.
No. I have a collect call from Lansing, California for Fillmore 60098. Will you accept it? Lansing? Well, I don't know.
It's me, Mary. Take the call.
Oh, it's you, is it? What do you think you're doing? 50 miles?
Will you accept the call, madam?
I should say not. The very idea.
Mary, wait.
I'm
Hey.
sorry. The party will not accept the call.
Look, operator, get her back, will you? This is important.
I'll ring them again.
Swell, that's a sweetheart. She's there, the little... Why didn't she pick up that phone?
Your party doesn't answer.
Oh.
No soap, huh? Hey, they kept our nickel.
Let me have another one, will you? I'll get hold of my partner. He'll identify.
Look, we've wasted enough time. Come on in here.
You're locking me up, right? What's the big idea?
I'm holding you on suspicion.
Suspicion of what?
Defrauding the cafe, for one thing. And I want to check that car.
You think I stole it?
It's been done.
Oh, now, wait. If you let me phone...
You're entitled to one call. You've had it.
Now, look here, officer.
Inside.
Jail. Jail, all on account of a measly nickel, a lousy, stinking nickel.
You mean you ain't even got a nickel?
No. You see,
Gee, that's too bad, ain't it, Pete?
Sure is. Wish we could help you out.
Maybe we can.
Have you got a nickel?
Sure. Got 3 of them.
Will you lend me one? Just one.
What's it worth to you, chum?
I'll send you $10.
Pie in the sky.
Hey, my wristwatch.
What's the matter with it?
Nothing's the matter with it. It's worth $50. Here, you fool, look at it. It's yours for 5 cents for one measly nickel. What can you lose?
Is it hot?
You mean stolen? Of course not.
What are you offering it for a nickel for?
I want to get out of this filthy place.
Oh, so you don't like our company, is that it?
No, ain't that just too bad?
What do you think of that, Mr. Phillips?
He don't like it. Have you got any nickels, Mr. Phillips?
I followed his glance. The first time I saw deep in the gloom of the locked cubicle the face that I'd seen on the front page of the newspaper. The face I'd said I wouldn't want to run into. Close. Well, it was close, and I was glad there were bars between us.
Mr. Phillips here, he's a big shot. Robbed 4 banks and broke out of 2 jails. Killed a man, too.
Sure, we're just fags. But Mr. Phillips, he's going to the hot seat. They're coming to get him and take him back to Utah and burn him.
Ain't that right, Mr. Phillips? Mr. Phillips don't want to talk about it.
Mr. Phillips don't want to talk about nothing. Mr. Phillips ain't very sociable. Just like this.
Now, look, fellas, I want to get out of this jail. Here, take the watch and give me that nickel, huh?
Tell you what, I'll match you for it.
Match me?
Yeah, nickel against the watch.
Well, take it or leave it.
All right.
Leave Pete hold the watch. I'll flip the nickel on the floor. You call.
Heads.
Tails, I win.
Hey, wait a minute. Get your foot off it. How do you know it's tails?
It's tails, ain't it, Pete?
Sure, it's tails. Here's the watch, son.
Say, what is
Watch
this?
it, brother.
Well, you're not going to get away with
Get
this.
What's going on in there?
Officer, it ain't nothing. This new guy's acting up is all.
Quiet down in there.
Get up.
Can't.
Trying to get us in trouble, huh?
No.
Look, fellas, for heaven's
Shut
sake.
up. Okay. Kangaroo.
I'll be the judge and you'll be the prosecutor, huh?
Yeah. Maybe Mr. Phillips will be defense attorney. You want him, Mr. Phillips?
He don't want him.
Prisoner at the bar, stand up.
I said stand up. Now, cut it out. I...
All right, counselor. What's the prisoner charged with?
Your Honor, this man is a desperate criminal. He's charged with breaking into jail, insulting his fellow boarders, poor sportsmanship, and fighting. A very dangerous character, Your Honor.
Yeah, guilty on all counts. Prisoner, have you anything to say before I pronounce sentence? No? Okay. I fine you 5 cents. Hand it over.
You know I haven't got it.
Can't pay, huh? Well, then, you can work it out. Rate of 1 cent a day. Your first job will be to shine the court shoes.
Shine your own shoes.
Oh, so it's going to be like that, huh? Hold 'em slim.
Officer! Officer! Oh!
Pipe down in there.
All right. Now get on them shoes.
The next hours were unadulterated agony. It was unbelievable the filthy, inhuman jobs they could think up for me to do. And with every move I made, I could feel the glittering, steely eyes of Phillips, the silent man in the locked cage next to me, following me, waiting. And then he winked at me and nodded his head as though it were a signal. And then his 2 huge arms came through the bars and thrust me reeling across the cell, and I fell and hit my head. And that's all I remember.
Listening to Chicken Feed, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Every Thursday night on Night Watch, a CBS radio police recorder goes right along in the prowl car with actual police. There's nothing added to the truth, nothing subtracted from it when Night Watch tells its stories. Don't miss it later tonight on most of these stations. And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Harry Bartell as Clark in tonight's production of Chicken Feed, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
what time it was. 2 or 3 in the morning. And I felt a stealthy touch on my shoulder. I opened my eyes. I was still on the stone floor, and Phillips was bending over me, holding a revolver.
You fool. You want to wake them punks? Get up quick.
I glanced quickly at Phillips' cell. It was open, and so was the door to mine. We walked to the front desk. There, bound and gagged securely, Sergeant Ross glared at us.
Here. Which is the key to your car?
This one.
Okay. Take it and let's move. Where's the car?
Over there.
You drive. Well, we made it. Them hick bulls, they panic me. Guy could spring that crock with a hairpin. You nearly done a fine job of lounging things up. What happened to you getting thrown in the can in the middle of the day?
They picked me up on suspicion.
There wasn't supposed to be till midnight tonight.
What?
And all that phony kid stuff about the nickel.
The nickel?
Yeah. All you had to do was slip me the word that Jerry Nichols sent you. Served you right the way them lushers treated you.
Jerry Nichols. Nichols? He thought I was an accomplice, sent by a partner to help him break jail. Then all my screams about a nickel had been nothing but a signal to him, a signal that I came from Jerry Nichols.
Jerry got the hideout set up?
Yeah.
Where is it?
The hideout?
The hideout. We're going to Jerry's place first, right? Then what?
Well, I'll take you to Jerry's, and then he'll take over from there.
How far is it to Jerry's?
Well, Hey, look behind you.
What's the matter?
There's a car following us without lights.
Where? I don't see...
What the... Say, what's the big idea? You trying to cross me? Go ahead, get it started.
It's flooded.
I'm getting out to let car passes. You make to the other side and no tricks. Just to make sure I'll take this key. Remember, no tricks.
I had made myself a chance, and I took it. I slipped out of the car on the other side and ran across the fields until I could run no more. After an interminable 2 miles, I found a road. And after a while, a dark shape loomed up before me, a gas station. And through the glass, I could make out the outline of a telephone. I tried the door. It was locked, of course, but I found the tire iron and sprang the latch. I ran to the phone and almost threw myself on it before I saw it was a payphone. In a rage, I shook the black box. There must be some money in this room. My eyes focused on a battered desk. There was some change in it. I took a nickel.
Number, please.
Kept me San Francisco. Sutter 15994.
Thank you. There may be a slight delay, sir.
I'll hold on. But hurry, operator. It's important.
One moment, please.
I waited. Far down the road, the headlights of a car joggled over the rise and aimed toward me. I hung up the receiver, closed the cash drawer, snapped the lock on the door. Then I crouched beneath the desk.
Try to wake that geezer before he sleeps like a dead.
Hey, Harry! All right, I'm coming. Who is it?
Brady and Ross, open up.
Well, you're a fine bunch of cops running out of gas in the middle of the night. Hey, come on in. It's chilly with the door open.
Phillips broke jail.
What? Well, you don't tell me. Yeah, how'd he do that?
Well, there was 2 of them. He had an accomplice. Said he was a lawyer.
We found their car abandoned on the road back at Ferris's hop field. Ran out of gas. They can't be far away.
There was a big reward for Phillips after he broke jail at Bennington, wasn't there?
Yep. $1,000.
Hey, you know him, don't you? You were in the Bennington boat when he did that break.
Yeah. Yeah, we was roommates for a night. I was pretty scared.
How'd he do it, the break?
Well, I don't know. I was sleeping it off. $1,000 reward, huh?
Don't you go getting any ideas now. That Phillips is a killer, and so's his partner, most likely.
Well, I ain't exactly helpless myself. Got me a nice little feller in my side here.
You take my advice, chum, and put the gun away. They show up here, you talk soft, and let us do the capture.
Sure. I'll play safe.
We'll be going. Just wanted to alert you, Jerry.
Yeah, well, thanks. So long, boys. All right, you. Come out from under that desk.
Mister.
Come on out, I say. This gun's mighty nervous. And get your hands up. Stand over there.
Look, mister,
I'll do the talking. Who are you?
You gotta believe me. I'm not a criminal. I'm a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. You must be that other one. Hey, keep them hands up. Now, where's Phillips?
I left him in the car. Now, that's another thing. You can get the reward. I know who he's going to meet, and they're going to a hideout.
I see. Who's he going to meet?
Somebody named Jerry Nichols. There. Now, if you let me get to that phone, I can clear everything up.
No, you don't. You stay right where you are.
But that's my partner, my law partner in San Francisco. I only broke in here so I could phone him. He'll identify me. You don't believe me?
Yeah, I believe you all right.
Then what? Answer it yourself. You'll see.
Not on your life, mister. Will you think I'm out of my mind?
But you've got to answer it, Jerry. You don't know what I went through to place that call. You can't just stand there. Jerry. You're Jerry Nichols.
Yep, that's right. So you see it.
Jerry! Jerry!
Hey, turn off that light. It's Phillips. You stand over there where he can't see it. Now, go on.
Jerry!
Come on in, Phillips.
Hey, ran out of gas and that pump. Oh, Jerry, what?
Yep, dead or alive. I just made me $1,000.
You're worse than he is.
Shut up. Maybe I can get a reward for you, too. A small one.
Feel the bullet land in my side just below the belt in the avenues of pain spread out like the cracks in a hammered window glass. But somehow, strangely, it didn't stop me. I kept moving toward him. He backed away, surprised. He was aiming for another shot when we grappled. I got the gun, and he got my throat. Fell backwards over the chair, and I was on top of him. As we threshed around on the floor, I brought his hand up suddenly and smashed his own gun. Please. Still. He was alive. I got up gasping for breath, and then I realized that I was all right. Yet he'd shot me, hit me. I should be lying there on the plank floor instead of that grotesque heap in the shapeless flannel nightgown. I felt my side where the bullet had struck. Brought my hand away. There was no blood on it. There should be blood. I touched the spot again, fingered the contour of something small and round. I pulled it out of my watch pocket, battered where the slug had struck it, bent almost double. Nickel. The 20th part of a dollar. All a man needed to buy a cup of coffee, to make a phone call, to pay a fine in the kangaroo court. To save his life. And I'd had it all the time. I'd had it all the time. I'd had it all the time. Hello.
I have your party now in San Francisco. Shall I connect you, sir?
Yeah, but first, get the Lansing police station with you, operator.
Lansing police?
Yeah. Shut up, Jerry. You're going to live. I'm going to be in court with you. Yeah, and I wouldn't give a plug nickel for your chance.
Suspense, in which Harry Bartell starred as Clark. Crime Photographer is now heard Friday nights on CBS Radio. Tomorrow, marking his move to the new night and time, Casey tackles a tough assignment
confronting a corrupt political boss, a beautiful redhead, and the wayward son of a respected cop in his efforts to crack a protection racket rooted in the city. Don't miss Crime Photographer in action tomorrow night against crime and criminals.
Next week, the simple tale of a woman who finds herself accused of murder and yet has no remembrance of either the act itself or the person she is said to have killed. We call it Lost. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Chicken Feed was specially written for Suspense by Lawrence Goldman. Featured in the cast were Clayton Post, Jack Crucian, James Nusser, Vic Perrin, Edgar Barrier, Michael Ann Barrett, Larry Thor, and Eleanor Tanin. Rosemary Clooney sings Thursday nights on the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. The simple tale of a woman who finds herself accused of murder and yet has no remembrance of either the act itself or the person she is said to have killed. So now, with Paula Winslow as Alice, here is tonight's suspense play, Lost.
It happened in New York. I was window shopping on Fifth Avenue. It was noon. The sun was warm, but a chill made me shiver. I started walking again. I reached 59th Street, Central Park. No more stores, no more windows. I wanted to walk in the park, but I didn't. I couldn't decide. Should I? Shouldn't I? Yes, no, do, don't. I knew I had to go someplace. I knew I had to meet somebody, but it all happened so fast, like somebody closing a door. Suddenly, I couldn't remember who I had to meet, or where, or when. I started to walk, as fast as I could. I was almost running, up one block, down the next, back to Central Park. I had to keep moving. I had to run into something or somebody that would remind me. I had to. Then I saw a policeman in the middle of the street. He was directing traffic. I ran toward him.
Lady, you tired of living?
Oh, help me. Please help me.
What's the matter?
I'm lost.
Well, this is 59th Street and 7th Avenue. Downtown is that way. Where you want to go?
Well, I don't know.
Come on, no left turn here. Keep going. What was that again, lady?
Well, all these cars, these buildings, people. This looks like New York.
Yeah, this is New York.
Well, how did I get here?
Where you from?
I don't know.
Huh?
Oh,
All right, now, lady, now don't cry.
I don't even know my name. He asked me a few more questions. Then he took me to the precinct station. He left me there with a detective named Mark Neal.
Now, let's go over what we got so far, huh?
All right.
The name Alice is on the inside of your wedding ring. It's on the lining of your coat. It's on your dress and burned into the flap of your purse.
Alice.
It's still not familiar, huh?
No. Please, may I get up?
Yeah, sure. Oh, where are you going?
Well, I just want to walk. Back and forth in here's all right, as long as I can keep moving. Lieutenant, what's going to happen to me?
I will try to find out who you are if you can just sit down for a few minutes.
Oh, well, I'll try.
The patrolman said you didn't seem scared by the traffic.
Well, what does that mean?
That you probably came from a big city.
Here? New York?
No, you'd have some kind of a key in your purse. My guess is that you're at some hotel. You left the key at the desk.
Oh, help me. Please.
Your clothes are clean. They're not wrinkled. Means you didn't sleep in them last night, so you haven't been missing very long.
But who am I? Who do I belong to? Oh, I'm sorry. I've got to walk.
Okay. Let's go get your picture taken.
Where?
It's just down the hall.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We'll send your picture to all the papers and the TV stations.
But what if... Suppose nobody recognizes me?
Well, then it'll be up to the doctors.
Doctors?
City Hospital. That's your next stop.
Oh, will you stay there with me?
The hospital?
Yes. Oh, you've got to. You're the only friend I've got.
I'm sorry I can't.
Oh, please. Please don't leave me. Don't leave me alone. Alone. Alone in a city of 8 million people. I knew 3 of them. A policeman near Central Park, a detective, and the nurse who brought me here to this ward. This hospital ward.
Hello.
Oh. Do I know you?
I'm Dr. Corday.
Oh, then you can help me. Please, I want to get out of here. I don't want to stay here. I can't. They made a mistake.
Who did?
Well, the hospital. I heard the nurse. I know what this is. The psycho ward for crazy people. Look, I'm not crazy. I'm not. I just can't. I just can't remember who I am.
Go ahead. It'll do you good.
You think I'll start remembering?
Maybe not, but somebody will recognize you. You're a celebrity. Your picture's in all the papers, and it's been on every TV station in the city.
And nobody's called?
Not yet.
Doctor, how long will this last? When will I start to remember?
Maybe a day, a week, a month. Right now, you need some rest.
Oh, I can't sleep now.
Did you take that pill the nurse brought?
Yes.
Sleep. And we'll talk some more after you wake up. Have a good sleep?
Well, I must have had. It's dark outside.
What's the matter?
Well, they moved me. They moved me while I was sleeping.
It's all right. You're on another floor of the hospital.
But those bars on the windows. Why did you move me? Why are those bars on the windows? Well, tell me, please, tell me.
I want you to concentrate on the game now. It's called word association. I'll say a word. You answer with the first word you think of. Black.
White.
Texas.
Big.
Blood.
Red.
Gun.
Kill.
Bullet.
Dead.
Murder.
Well, why do you pick those words? Blood and bullet.
Please
murder.
answer. Murder.
This is the prison ward, isn't it?
It's just another floor of the hospital.
It's the prison ward, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I've been arrested. I've done something. But those words, blood and gun, I've killed somebody.
You remember?
Oh, then it's true. It's true.
Alice, I want you to look at some pictures.
Well, who did I kill? Who was it? Tell me.
See if you recognize the people in these pictures. Try this one first.
Oh, doctor, help me. Help me.
Now, look at that picture. You know him?
Well, should I?
Do you?
Well, I don't know. Is he the man I killed? Is he? That's why you're showing me the picture, isn't it? He's dead. Dead. And I killed him.
No, Alice.
She fainted. That's all right, Mr. Parker. Nurse, will
Will this bring back her memory?
Maybe not completely, but she may at least remember you're her husband. This next one is my office, Mr. Parker.
All right.
Leave the door open so we can hear the nurse. Pull up a chair.
Yeah.
I didn't get much chance to talk to you before, Mr. Parker. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Fire away, Doc.
I think you said you and your wife came here from San Francisco?
Yeah, about a month and a half ago.
What brought you here?
I'm a songwriter. I can write better stuff left-handed than the junk you hear today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying there are no good writers left, but now look. Irving Berlin, oh man, Rogers and Hammerstein, they're busy counting their money. Cole Porter, a has-been. Tin Pan Alley is begging for a great young songwriter, and I'm their boy.
Have you written any songs?
Hundreds of them, and all great.
What are they? Maybe I remember some of them.
Well, none of them has been published yet, but that's politics. That's why we come to New York, to make the connection.
You look a good deal younger than your wife.
I'm 24 and she's 36. But don't crack that I told you. I don't want to hurt her feelings.
How'd you happen to marry someone that much older?
Want me to level with you?
Help me treat your wife.
Well, Alice is no Marilyn Monroe. Want me to spell it out anymore?
I take it she's rather wealthy.
We ain't living at the Hotel Bentley on my royalty checks.
How's the marriage going?
Sometimes okay.
And other times?
You could have sold ringside seats.
What do you fight about?
Always the same thing. Alice is a nice girl. And I like to live the way that she can afford. But let's face it, Doc, I'm 24.
I don't think I understand.
Alice, she gets crazy jealous if I say hello to another girl.
Is that why she shot Joyce Carlyle?
I guess so. All I was trying to do was sell Carlyle some of my numbers. If she gives your song a ride, you got a real chance.
For your wife's sake, I hope Miss Carlyle pulls through.
Huh?
It'll have a terrible effect on Alice if Miss Carlyle dies.
She's still alive?
She had another transfusion about half an hour ago.
Oh, where is she?
Downstairs, second floor.
Look, I'd better get down and see how she is.
No, she's still unconscious. I've been getting word from the detectives.
Detectives?
They're waiting around in case she regains consciousness.
Oh, Dr. Corday.
Yes, nurse.
Mrs. Parker is asking for you.
Oh, thank you. Run along, Mr. Parker.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Don't you remember me?
You'll know when you walk in that door.
Alice.
You called me Alice.
Honey, I'm Vance.
Vance?
Your husband, baby. We came here from San Francisco, don't you remember? Oh, come on, honey. Let me hold you.
Oh, don't. Please, don't.
Alice, it's me. It's Vance.
Please, let me go.
Hello, Doctor. Mrs. Parker. Lieutenant.
Oh, hello, Mr. Neal.
Lieutenant Neal. Mr. Parker.
Are you one of the detectives from downstairs?
Yes. And, now I've got some bad news.
Look, how is Miss Carlyle?
Dead. They were holding your wife for murder.
Listening to Lost, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tomorrow night, Casey, CBS Radio's crime photographer, totes his lens into plenty of danger as he investigates a miracle cure. Don't miss Life for Sale, the story on crime photographer tomorrow night over most of these same stations. And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Paula Winslow as Alice in tonight's production of Lost, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
asked me more questions. I couldn't answer any of them. Dead or alive, I didn't remember Joyce Carlyle. I didn't even remember myself. Alice Parker, San Francisco. Alice Parker, San...
Honey, you quitting?
Oh, it's no good, Vance.
That's the first time you called me by my right name.
Oh, why can't I remember? Why can't I remember?
Honey, you heard the head shrinker. Relax, forget it.
But how can I?
What can they do to you? They found your handkerchief in Joyce Carlyle's apartment. That's all they got. They don't even have the gun you used, the witnesses.
Well, I don't care about that.
Besides, honey, they can't hang you for a murder you can't even remember.
Vance, can't you understand?
What? What ain't I have to? What?
Whether they convict me isn't important.
It's not.
Look, even if they let me walk out now, I've got to live every day knowing I killed somebody. Oh, don't you see? Don't you understand at all?
Yeah, sure, honey, sure. Look, I'll get a lawyer tomorrow, and you'll be out of here real quick. Just a minute.
Good morning, Mr. Parker.
Oh, hi, Lieutenant. What are you doing here?
I'd like to look around your suite, if I can.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Come on to the bedroom while I grab a tie, huh?
Mm-hmm. Just these two rooms of the place?
Yeah, that's it. If you tell me what you're looking for, maybe I can stay.
Is this your wife's dresser?
Uh-huh. You were prowling for anything particular?
No. Just want to see if there's any sign your wife planned this. Makes a difference if it was premeditated. You ever see your wife with a gun?
Oh, skeet rifle?
No, a snub-nosed .22 caliber pistol, pearl handle.
You told me you didn't have any murder weapons.
We found it this morning.
Where?
Near the 59th Street entrance to the park.
Close to where Alice talked to that cop?
Yeah, 2 blocks.
Any fingerprints on the gun?
No, but it's the right gun. Anything on the night table there?
Phone books. Come on, you ready for the other room?
Yeah, I guess so.
$27.50 a day for these 2 rooms. Make it a softer touch and Crosby's agent.
You have the key to this desk?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right here. It's a little one.
Thank you.
How about that? $27.50 a copy. You think they'd throw in anything on the cuff? Nah. You want to watch TV, you drop 2 bits in that slot. Cost me $1 yesterday to watch a disc jockey. And, speaking of dough, I know this ain't any time to ask, but...
Here are your keys.
Look, you think they'll tie up Alice's loot while she's getting her marbles counted, huh?
I don't know.
It'll ground me real good if they do. You know, today was payday, and if she ain't around to sign my check...
I'll remind her when I get to the hospital.
Oh, thanks a lot. And, you tell her I'll be over later with the lawyer, huh?
You better check first.
What?
She may be out. I'm taking her to Joyce Carlyle's apartment.
Oh, come on. What do you guys want?
They got a murder to solve.
But you got it solved. So even if Alice did kill his canary, she was off a rocker. There's nothing you can do to her. Why are you taking her to Joyce's place? Ain't she had a bad enough time?
You're welcome to come along.
Morning, Alice.
Oh, hello, Doctor.
Feel stronger today?
Well, I think so.
How much is 2 and 2?
What?
How much is 2 and 2?
4.
How do you know?
Well, I learned it.
When?
When I was a little girl. I had a special blue dress, and...
Go on.
And they used to tease me and call me Alice Blue Gown. Doctor, it's coming back. I'm beginning to remember. I live in San Francisco. My name is Alice Lee Parker.
Where are you?
In New York. With my husband. His name is Vance.
How did you come here?
On a train. We got here last week.
Last week?
On Friday. It's our second honeymoon. Vance took me out Saturday night to the Golden Angel. We danced together. Every dance. He never looked at another girl.
The Golden Angel?
The nightclub. Oh, it was wonderful.
You remember a girl who sang at the club?
Yes, a pretty girl. We liked her. Her name was...
Joyce?
Yes, Joyce. Joyce Carlyle. Oh, but no. No, that's the name of the girl
You remember?
No, I remember her name from last night.
Last night?
When the detective came in, he said she'd died.
You remember shooting her?
Oh, no. No, I thought I was all better. Oh, Van. Oh, darling.
She's almost completely recovered.
Doctor.
Oh, good morning, Lieutenant. I didn't see you.
Doctor, can you step out into the corridor for a minute?
Sure. Pardon us. What is it?
Does she remember the shooting?
Not yet. There's still a gap, a kind of twilight zone of about a month.
Yeah. Is there any danger in her visiting Joyce Carlyle's apartment?
On the contrary, it might snap her out of it entirely.
Good. I'll take her over there right now.
It's a pretty classy layout you had here, huh?
Mrs. Parker, does the place look familiar?
No, it doesn't.
The next room is the den here. This is where it happened.
Do you remember it now, honey?
No.
Miss Carlyle was sitting on that couch when she was shot. Oh, excuse me, that might be for me. Hello.
Oh,
yes.
But why? Why?
Why what?
Well, why should I want to kill her?
You thought that she was cutting your time.
With you?
Oh, Natch, I kept telling you that, honey, but you wouldn't listen.
All right, thanks.
But how could I do it?
Well, finally adds up. You know, I first got suspicious when the murder gun showed up without fingerprints.
Why?
Because you weren't wearing gloves when you lost your memory, and you had none in your purse. It looked like the gun was planted for us to find. Planted where it would look bad for you, Mrs. Parker. That phone call was from your hotel.
Well, what have they got to do with this?
Well, there's a tape in that coin box on your TV set. It records the time the coin drops in and the channel being watched.
Come on, let's get with it.
You were watching Channel 2 yesterday at 3:15 when your wife's picture was telecast.
Anything wrong with that?
It was a real good setup. Your wife in the hospital with amnesia, so she can't remember whether she did it or not. You plant her handkerchief here where the police will find it.
Vance.
Your telephone charge slip shows that you called her here at 3:45 yesterday. Had to be you because your wife was in the hospital at that time.
Oh, now, look. Joyce Carlyle was going to sing some of my songs. Why would I knock her off?
We found out about that, too, from her piano player. You told Joyce Carlyle you were going to divorce your wife and marry her. She was demanding action. So come on, son. You can think up another story on the way to headquarters.
Suspense, in which Paula Winslow starred as Alice. Next week, the ironic story of an actor who played his first part perhaps too well, leaving himself unable to better his performance. We call it Rave Notice. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucien Morawick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Lost was specially written for Suspense by Jerry D. Lewis. Featured in the cast were Bill Conrad, John Daner, Tony Barrett, and Herb Vigran. You enjoy City Hospital every Saturday in the daytime on the CBS Radio Network. And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, the ironic story of an actor who played his part perhaps too well, thus leaving himself unable to better his performance. So now, with Hans Conried as Sam, here is tonight's suspense play, Rave Notice.
When I'm walking across Times Square like this, I'm just an ordinary man, plain, unnoticeable. It's as though I were invisible. Invisible. But wait, come here. Come with me through this door, through here, and into the darkness. Now, I breathe deeply of the thick, dark air, and I become taller. My eyes drink in the gloomy shadows, become lustrous, bird-like, noble. Here, in this temple of the passions, I throw off my cloak of invisibility, and I reveal myself, my true self. For this is the theater, and I am an actor. Up there on the stage, beyond the empty seats lit by the single bare bulb, are my fellow workers. We are here to make a play. Friend Norman, sitting alone in the third row, is our director. This is the 5th day of rehearsal. It's not a bad little play, but you know Norman. Norman will manage somehow to spoil it. Norman will misdirect actors and lose values. I've known Norman for years.
Oh, no. Norman, why not? Why not? Because I am the director and I say no. No. Very well. No. Try again. I wish somebody would tell me what it's all about. I wish somebody would give me the word. Now that is adequate. Well, thank you very much. Oh, please. All right, Cat, take 5.
Norman.
Oh, this is right.
Norman.
Hello there.
How are we coming?
Oh, this Sam, come over here. I want to talk to you.
Oh, sure, Norman, sure. What is it?
Now, Sam, I have had to turn over the bell ringer to Luther.
The bell ringer? Well, that's my part, the bell ringer. What do you mean, Luther?
No, please, don't make it difficult for me, Sam.
Difficult? I'm not making it difficult. The bell ringer role is mine. That's all. There's no difficulty involved.
Oh, please.
Well, you joke.
No, it's not as if I hadn't warned you.
Well, tell me what's wrong. Tell me where I've stepped off, what irritates you, what doesn't fit, and I'll fix it.
Shall I start?
Now, that's my role, Norman. I carry the whole cast with
that
role.
Start, Sam. You're just making a fool of yourself.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because you are not right for it.
Not right?
No.
You fat pig! What do you know?
No, easy.
What do you know about
acting? Sam, take easy there.
Fat belly, fat head, fat face.
That's enough.
You know nothing.
I know you. I know actors. You're no actor. You stink.
I'll kill you for saying that. I'll kill you.
Witness says he threatens me again.
Yes? Well, listen well. Norman, I'm going to kill you.
Norman, I'm going to kill you. You see, you can't even deliver that line. Oh, you stink.
Yes, sir?
I want to buy a gun.
Oh, yes, sir. And what sort of gun did you wish to buy, sir?
One that will shoot through fat.
Sir?
Pardon me, I was thinking, what kind have you got?
Well, what was it you wished to use the gun for, sir?
I want to kill a rat.
Oh, well, a .22 would be about your best bet. Now, then, let me see here. Here's a nice little item here.
That looks pretty small. This is an awful big rat, a fat rat.
Oh, well, I think a shotgun. A 410. Yes.
You think that'll do it?
Oh, mister, this is a truly beautiful weapon.
Yeah. Bullets. You have bullets?
Oh, bullets. Shells you use in this weapon.
Very well. I want one.
One box?
No, one bullet.
One?
Yeah. This rat, I'm not going to miss. It's time now. He'll come out the stage door and he'll walk this way because he's going to Sardi's for a drink. I slide it out from under my coat. I smile and I say, "Goodbye, Norman," and I pull the trigger. Heart or belly? Heart or belly? Belly, yes, his cultivated paunch, fatted with actors' hearts. Am I invisible now? Mustn't be noticed until the moment. Perhaps standing a little too tall. Sag. That's perfect. The actor plays himself as a non-actor. Oh, you should see this, Norman. Now. Goodbye, Norman.
Sam, no!
I am shot. Norman? Norman, you're dying. Please, someone call an ambulance, please. Is this how you play your death scene? Please, Norman, you're dying. Please, play it.
With a shotgun, he did it, right in the middle of 45th Street.
Wow.
They brought him in an hour ago.
Give you any trouble?
Well, like a lamb.
Hello.
Just thought you'd like to know that guy, he's still kicking.
Alive? He's alive?
Yep. So you're not a murderer.
Not yet. Oh.
Hey, I brought your lawyer.
What's that?
I'm your lawyer.
Oh, how do you do? Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
They say he's still not dead.
No, but he's thinking.
When he dies, I become a murderer.
Yes.
They'll electrocute me.
Yes.
I must have been crazy.
I thought of that.
What do you mean?
Temporary insanity. I thought we might plead that.
Well, why don't we?
Because you threatened him before witnesses, at least twice, went to a store, chose a gun with great care, waited for him to appear. You did all this, and then you shot him.
Oh, that's right, I did.
Well, that's premeditated murder. First-degree murder.
So the temporary insanity thing is out?
Way out. The only other thing I can think of is if we could prove you were insane all along.
What would happen? I mean, if I were.
Oh, they'd get the psychiatrists in, examine you, send you off to be cured.
Of course.
You seem very calm.
I'm an actor. He's gone, and I sit here, seeming calm. But from time to time, the guard passes, looks at me curiously. I know what's on his mind. There sits a cold-blooded murderer. Oh, I know. All my life I've studied the human beings, memorized their gestures, tones, expressions, inflections, emotions. I've learned to probe every moment of my own experience from earliest childhood. Searched out every reaction, emotion, learned to feel the parallel emotions of others. The Stanislavski method of acting. Oh, I have it. I know it.
Of course, if we could prove you were insane all along.
But I'm not. The insane man moves without motive. I had a motive.
I know you. I know actors. You're no actor.
But I am.
No actor. No actor. No actor. No actor. No actor.
Insane. Mad. I know a joke. A wonderful joke. I'm going to beat Norman even in his grave. I'm going to have myself exonerated of his murder. Yes, freed of the charges. It's so simple I can hear it.
Not guilty by reason of insanity.
I'm going to play the greatest role of my life.
play it without makeup, without lights, without script or cue. I'm going to play a part strangely foreign to my nature. I'm going to play a homicidal maniac.
Listening to Rave Notice, tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Radio's only adult Western drama, Gunsmoke, now comes to you twice every Saturday on CBS Radio. There's a thrilling daytime edition and the nighttime show as well, bringing you the Old West as it really was. Dangerous, deadly, and full of action. Meet Marshal Matt Dillon and all the other citizens of Dodge City who coped with lawless frontier elements just as their real-life counterparts did decades ago when the West was young. On most of these stations Saturday, daytime and night, enjoy Gunsmoke. And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Hans Conried as Sam in tonight's production of Rave Notice, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'm going to play a homicidal maniac. How? What is the most terrible thing I ever did? Thing closest to murder. I must recreate that mood. Murder. Killing. Blood. I killed a cat once. I was 6 years old. I had a stick. It was in an alley. This cat, I poked him, just for laughs. He didn't run. That's all I wanted to make him do, just make him run. No, he scratched me, and I hit him. I hit him with the stick. He started squalling, and, I thought I'm going to get into trouble. Stop that noise. Stop that noise. Well, I hit him again to make him stop, and again to make him stop. And there was blood. Red blood on the gray cement. And struck out the screen, struck out the light, struck out the awful gaze of those great yellow eyes. Strike out the light, strike out the spirit, the spark. I kill. A murderer I am. I kill for the thrill of the silence of the cat. I am a murderer. A murderer, am I? I kill without reason. That's it. That's the character. All I need for turning it on is the memory. Those key parts. Gray cement, cat's eyes, my feelings as a 6-year-old. Oh, there'll be refinements, of course. I'll refine it. Oh, Norman, if you were only here to see this scene. Dim the house lights, raise the curtain, and now to get my audience in.
Hey, you. Hey. Who may I ask? Are you? Huh? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Ah, come on now, Mac. Calm down. No, I asked a civil question. I expect a civil answer. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? So nice and quiet for a while there. Yeah. No, just answer my question. That's all I ask. That's not much reward for a hero to be asking, now is it? Don't you know who we are?
I think he's putting on an act.
Now, don't turn your head away. We know you hear us.
I'll leave him be.
You think he's kidding?
What does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, that was very weak. You can do better than that. You're supposed to be a murderer, a homicidal maniac, so what's the emotion? Guilt. You've got to be guilty. Guilty. Smear yourself with the stuff. Guilty. Bloody hands. Guilty, and you want to be punished. Yes, punish yourself. That'll do it. It'll hurt.
So what? Not like a person who used to shave your head, slit your trousers, and strap you to your seat. Oh, that seat. 10,000 volts coursing through this poor player's frail body.
Murder. Guilty. Should be punished. 1, 2, 3. Curtain going up. Guilty! There's blood on my hands. Blood and filth and disease. I smashed him on the gray cement and smashed him. Murder! I murdered him! I'm a murderer! I confess it! Hey! Oh, sir, I want to confess. To
purge myself of this guilt.
Take it easy.
Oh, no, I'm guilty. You hear? I smashed him.
What are you getting so worked up about? The guy ain't even dead yet.
Not dead, he is dead. Why, he's been dead these past 36 years. 36 years!
Hey, what are you doing?
Punish me, I'll punish myself.
Hey.
I'm guilty, and I shall be smashed.
Your hand.
If he was smashed.
You're gonna bust your head on the wall
No,
there.
I shall be smashed. It is written. You know the writing in blood that lies across the counterpane in the bed under the window where the little boys are supposed to be far away in slumberland?
Shoot! Get the doctor!
Good. He's getting the doctor. My hand is killing me. I think I broke something then. I don't mind the bloody scraped knuckles or even breaking the nails, but not the bones. I want to be sure I can use the darn thing when I get out of here. But when? If I ever get out of here, 2 cats dead, murdered by my stick. 4 cats dead, murdered by my stick.
How long has he been doing this? 15 minutes, Doc. It's just before I sent Schultz after you.
I see. All right, now you can stop that.
But I don't stop. I don't look. I keep right at it. Keeping apart. Murderer. Guilty.
Stop it!
It hurts, but I'm paying the price. Stop! I'm paying my way out of being electrocuted. I'm going to be free.
All right, grab him.
All right, come on.
Please! I want to pay. I'm the guilty one, and I want to pay the sentence of the court.
Hold him.
Let me go. Let me go. I will
Hold on.
pay.
Hold on.
Hypodermic needle. Injection. That'll knock me out. I can't act if I'm unconscious. I can't play my part. My guilty part. I've got to hurt myself. I've got to hurt myself. It's so quiet here. So white. Such sweet stillness and peace. Gone the darkness of the cell, steel and concrete. This white ceiling there. And they're watching me very carefully. The taller one, he's new. The other gave me the hypodermic. Yes. Hypodermic? How long have I been out? Did I say anything while I was out? Perhaps if I keep still, they'll let me know.
You say he showed definite suicidal tendencies?
Suicidal, immediate, or simply self-destructive. While he was unconscious, I listened to him. He spoke, seemed under the delusion that he's invisible.
Invisible? Well, that's a new one.
Look, he's opening his eyes.
Hello? Awake?
Who are you?
You remember me, don't you?
No.
I gave you something to quiet you a little while ago.
A little while ago?
When you were trying to injure yourself, so we'd think you insane.
You've decided to give that up, haven't you?
I have to carry out sentence, you know.
How will you carry out sentence?
Be smashed. I'm to be smashed as I have smashed the cat.
Is that the law?
Yes, I smashed him with a stick.
Stick? You mean shotgun, don't you?
Well, why would I say shotgun if I meant stick? I said stick.
But you shot the man with a shotgun.
You're out of your mind.
After you smashed him with the stick, what happened?
What?
What came after he was dead?
I was frightened. I went home. Mama was there. She said, how did you get blood on your hands? I said, a dog licked my hand. He had blood on his teeth.
Understand you're an actor.
We are all actors. We try to act innocent when we are guilty.
Doctor, come outside a moment, will you?
I got them. I've got them. Just keep playing it cold and clear. What are they talking about out there? Wish I knew. Doesn't matter. I've got them. I know that. I've got them.
Well, I guess you'll be leaving us soon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Your understanding, Doctor. I am guilty and must carry out sentence. You know that.
What the doctor means is that you're going to a place where they'll help you get well.
Get well?
Of course. Doctor, if you'll have the affidavits drawn up, I'll sign. We'll get a court order committing him.
Right.
Seems you were right all along.
You know, I wasn't sure until you told me about the man who was shot, about his recovering.
Oh, yes. The guards told this man he'd recovered, but he didn't comprehend, of course. He went right on screaming and punishing himself.
I see. Well, let's go. What would they have given him where he's staying?
It depends. If the injured party refused to press charges, he'd be out of there in an hour. A free man.
Recovered? They didn't tell me he'd recovered. How could he have recovered? I shot him in his fat paunch. When did they tell me? It was while I was screaming, maybe. I was really into the plot then. I was deep in it. I couldn't have heard them. I couldn't have heard. And now he will walk out of here. I'll go off to an insane asylum, married to a role that I loathe, that I hate. No! Doctor! Doctor, come back! Come back! It was all a joke, Doctor, a game! Come back! Come back, please, Doctor!
What is it?
Oh, listen, Doctor, I have a confession to make. I'm not insane. Please believe me. Believe me.
Of course you're not. Just a little confused, that's all.
No. You're wrong. Don't you see? Doctor, it was just a gag. Just a gag.
Yes, of course it was. Now, you're going to a place where you can rest, and everything's going to be all right.
Oh, no, believe me. I am sane.
Why shout?
No, I'm not shouting. I only want to press on you, Doctor.
But you were shouting rather loudly.
Oh, look, my lawyer said that if I could prove insanity, I wouldn't go to the chair.
Chair?
Yeah.
I thought you were to be... you said smash.
Oh, forget that. That was part of the method.
Method?
It's Stanislavski method. It's a system of acting.
What do you think, Doctor?
I don't know.
The man seems to be telling the truth.
Think so?
I can fool you all over again if you feel it's necessary to prove my point.
No, I don't believe you'll be able to fool me again.
Oh.
Doctor?
Sane. I say the man is in full control of his faculties, is aware of his crime, committed it out of what society calls sober motive.
You, sir, do you agree with the doctor?
Agree? That's what I've been telling you.
And I say same. That makes it unanimous.
Well, unanimous. Gentlemen, never in the history of the theater has such a performance been rendered, nor under such adverse conditions, believe me.
Just one more question.
Of course, Doctor.
Why did you kill him?
Kill him? But I did. I shot him, that's all. Shot? You mean shot, don't you? Don't you?
No.
Norman, he is dead?
And you are sane. And you are going to repay society with your life.
Norman is dead! Treachery! Villainy! Ring down the curtain! Ring down the curtain!
Suspense, in which Hans Conried starred as Sam. Next week, the story of several hours spent by two people in a deserted bus shelter, and the slow realization by one that the other is quite mad. We call it The Shelter. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Rave Notice was specially written for Suspense by James Poe. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, Edgar Barrier, Parley Bear, Jack Crucian, James Nusser, Howard McNear, and John Stevenson.
This is the CBS Radio Network.